All right, Shabbat Shalom, and welcome once again to another broadcast from Just a Word. This is Chazak Eliyahu Yasharal. All right, I'm getting low system resources, but let's see how it goes. Yes, want to say welcome to those on Just a Word Radio, and of course on YouTube as well, as we begin, or we are about to begin, our weekly Shabbat teaching. Just want to get this link. Just want to get this link off to send it out. I'll soon be with you. Gmail. All right, so let's see. Hold up. Shabbat link. Hope we're having a great Shabbat. Sure. And yeah, this will be it. Yeah, hope we're having a great Shabbat and that we'll be able to bring out that which we are set to bring out today. Are you hearing me clearly, or something doesn't sound so good?
It's perfect.
Okay, because it's showing me low system resources. So low system resources mean I'll have to close some of these. What do I have to close? I don't have anything really to close. I don't know. Anyway, all right. So yeah, let's see and hope that we're able to bring this out. Now, this week's teaching, will you be able to stand before the Son of Man, will comprise the first part of the teaching. Then the second part is the one I'm more interested in, which is the Gentile salvation deception, which is specially tailored and targeted to the Gentiles, a deception among the Gentiles that is going to, we have spoken about it before, but the Most High has imparted it in a different way or with more depth to show the danger of the Gentiles, the proud Gentiles who refuse to join themselves to Yasharal. So the first part of our teaching, most of the teaching today would be things that we have looked at before, but they have been put together in a different way to bring forth things differently for us to get an understanding from a different angle. So with this that we're doing today, it should cement our understanding in certain things, and certain things that we might have been dilly-dallying with should be cemented today. And primarily, the primary thing is actually the true belief, the true faith of the scriptures and the different beliefs, because we're going to look at 7 different beliefs that come out of people who read the Bible. And those are the 7 that I came up with. There may be more. 7 different avenues of belief, 7 different paths that people choose to say that is the way to salvation. We are going to use the scriptures to nullify all of them, except probably 1 or 2. And probably 1 is just one way. But then we are also going to look at the Gentiles, because even if the Gentiles find that one way, there is one thing that is going to prevent them from entering the kingdom, because their burden is different from ours. We're going to look at that too. Everyone is not the same. All right? We have different experiences. You are the oppressor, we are the oppressed, and the outlook and the end. And the salvation is different because of who you are. So those who keep saying it doesn't matter who you are, we are in for a rude awakening, as I was told. So will you be able to stand before the Son of Man? And today we are going to be looking at, try closing some application. This thing is telling me about closing applications. I don't see anything that I can close at the moment. Let me see. Can I close this? I can. Let me close this. and hope that it helps it out. All right. All right. So, what does the Bible say about these 7 different types of biblical beliefs? 7 different ways unto the Father that has been derived through the Bible. First of all, we have the Old Testament only. The believers that say that the Messiah, the Messiah is false. So, we're going to look at that. And the scriptures that we're going to use are going to be used as, it's going to be a system of elimination, where the different scriptures are just going to highlight and just rub that out, throw that one out, throw that one away, throw that one away. That's how we're going to do it today, all right? All right, so we have Old Testament only, the Messiah is false. We have New Testament only, belief in the Messiah, but the law is done away. That is most of Christians. We have the New Testament Church of God, I think in Christianity, that believes this. And most of other Christians, if they don't even say New Testament only, in effect, that's what they do. They only use the Old Testament to get sermons out of it and to get lessons out of it that they can use for their New Testament. Then we have the whole Bible. Those who believe in the whole Bible, they believe in the Messiah, but they say the law is done away. That is one. That is a lot of Christians believe this. Say they believe in the whole Bible. But remember, you cannot believe in the whole Bible unless you walk out what the whole Bible says. All right? Then you have number 4. They believe in the whole Bible. They believe in the law and the Messiah. But they say Shaul is false. He's a false apostle. All right? So that would mean that we would eradicate every writing that Shaul presents. Then we have number 5. The ones who say they believe in the whole Bible, they believe in the law, they believe in the Messiah, and they believe and follow the writings of Apostle Shaul. Then we have the Gentiles now, number 6. Gentiles who believe, Gentiles who believe the Israelis, or those people in the country called Israel, they believe that these Israelis are the true people of the book. All right, Yasharal. And then there are Gentiles who search and seek and find and get to know who the true children of Yasharal are and join themselves to the children of Yasharal. 7 different believers. And we're going to see by a process of elimination which ones are true. And the whole aim of this is to get whomever watches our videos to get to know that the way we follow is the true way. And that many of the things that they have been exposed to, or the teachings that they have been exposed to, are from people who are following the wrong way. And for us to believe here, who are used to our teachings, for us to believe are to know that what we believe is the right way, that we are on the right path, so that we can continue to build on the right path and not be swept away by every wind of doctrine. People come in and tell you, oh, don't do this, don't do that. That is not right, that is not wrong. It will show us that whether or not we are on the right path. And of course, the true belief is given to us by the Apostle Shaul in Acts 24:14. But this I confess unto thee, that after the way which they call heresy, so worship I the allure of my fathers, believing all things which are written in the law and in the prophets. So the Apostle Shaul said he believed all things written in the law and in the prophets, and of course, he believed in the Messiah. So the Old Testament only, they say Shaul does not believe in the law, and he's against the law, and he is transgressing the law, whatever. But he says he believes all things written in the law and in the prophets. So it behoves us now to figure out, what does he mean by believing all things written in the law and in the prophet? Now, the true belief here is given in 2 Thessalonians 2:13. Could you read, please, Samuel, at the bottom?
All right, 1 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 13. But we are bound to give thanks always to Allua for you, Brethren, beloved of Yahuwah, because Allah hath from the beginning chosen you to salvation through sanctification of the Ruach and belief of the truth.
All right. Allah hath from the beginning. We have predestination here again. From the beginning, before the creation of the heaven and the earth, he chose us to salvation through sanctification of the Ruach. Sanctification of the Ruach. And we receive this Ruach through Yahushua HaMashiach. And the belief of the truth. Belief of the truth is in Yahusha, and the truth is in the law. So this is the whole entirety. This is the truth of which we follow. We obey the law, and we obey and believe in the Son of Man, Yahusha HaMashiach. Now, the title that we had at the beginning, will you be able to stand before the Son of Man, is derived from this statement that was made by HaMashiach. So our question is, will you overcome and stand before the Son of Man? Is for us to take an introspective look as to where we are. Are we ready for the Messiah's return? Because we have so many people in this world waiting the Messiah's return. I can't wait for Jesus to come back. Are we really ready for the Messiah to come back? That is the question. Because who is coming back? The Lion of the tribe of Judah, he is not going to play. And many of us who are believers are going to get the shock of our lives. Yes, when we hear, I never knew you. When we cannot stand before him. All right? Because he is the key. It is listening to him that is the key. He is coming back. He has given us the recipe on how to stand before him when he comes back. So if we are Old Testament only, we are not going to get the recipe as to how to stand before him. It's going to be tragic. Because when he comes back, read at the top, Revelation 19:21. Read, please.
And the remnant were slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse, which sword proceeded out of his mouth, and all the fowls were filled with their flesh.
He is coming back as a destroyer. And he's coming back as a destroyer even for those who think that they are saved. It is a very narrow gate. And the onus today is for us to take a stock of ourselves. Are we ready? And we are going to look at it not for so in terms of our behavior, but in terms of the doctrine that we are following, the path that we are following. Are we following the right path? Because he told us that he is the way, the truth, and the life. And in the book of Jude, he told us that we must earnestly contend for the faith or the emunah once delivered unto the saints. So if it is an emunah once delivered to the saints, it means there's only one way. Read Lucas 21:34, please.
And take heed to yourself, lest any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and the cares of this life, and so that they come upon you unawares. All
right, so you're going to see a lot of scriptures that we've used over and over again. And they are going to help to channel us and to bring us to the truth. And these are core scriptures that we all must know and all must need to understand. All right? And we've done this almost every week. We look at this scripture because it is a very, very pertinent warning given to us by HaMashiach. And many of us do not take heed of this warning. All right? So he warns of us being overcharged with surfeiting, which is excess, and with drunkenness and being carried away by the ways of this world. And then the cares of life is being carried away by us fitting into this world. And it is by excess, by being carried away with the rudiments of the world and being carried away with the cares of this world or the ways of this world that we will be snared and caught unawares, so we cannot stand before the Son of Man. Continue.
For as a snare shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth.
A snare there means trap. As a trap shall it come upon all them that dwell upon the earth. And this is what we have been telling people for the past few weeks. Stumbling block. I'm going to look at that as well. The Most High said snares. There are snares all over for us. Why? To make sure that only those who have the right heart can actually attain unto eternal life. If your heart is not good, a snare is going to get you. If our hearts are right, then we will overcome the snares. It's as simple as that. All right? Because the Most High makes sure that everything that we do is tailored to sift out the righteous from the unrighteous. So snares will be there, and the snares will grab those who are not ready for his kingdom. Simple. Continue.
Watch ye therefore, and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man.
Watch and pray. Watch and pray. Why do you think our focus here on Just a Word is on watching and preparing ourselves for the end time? You won't hear us talking about a lot of people. People might say, why do we concentrate on these teachings? You don't hear us concentrate on things like, oh, everything's going to be okay. Oh, there's faith and everything will be good. And yeah, we don't concentrate on that because we are watching for the end time, watching to ensure that we are not snared. So all of the teachings, even today's teaching, is tailored to get us right along the right path in this end time unto salvation, to make sure that we are not snared. And it says, and pray always. Now, in this time, in this season, prayer is our greatest weapon. Watch and pray. You don't watch without praying. Praying has to be there. This connection with the Most High and this constant connection with the Most High is absolutely necessary to get us targeted. And the Most High has put the wisdom on the heart of our brother Mahar. And in our group, we have prayers against every 3 hours. We break for prayer. Whatever we are doing for the 3 hours. And we are saying this to advise others to think about upping the prayer, because it is very rewarding. Starting from 6 in the morning, 6, 9, 12, 3, 6, 9, and possibly 12 as well, midnight, if possible. Very rewarding, and it keeps us in tune and keeps us watching, keeps us sober, keeps us focused. So I'm advising others who are listening to kind of think about a similar regimen, a similar prayer regimen, and we might just put the text in the description as to the things we pray for, because we pray for different things each 3 hours. So we might just put the link to the prayer inside the description so that we can all be in one accord. Okay? I hope I remember. Somebody can remind me to do that. All right? And down the bottom, Matthew 26, 40 to 41. I don't know if Samuel will be able to see it.
Okay,
let me read it. And he cometh unto the disciples, and findeth them asleep, and saith unto Kepha, what could ye not watch with me 1 hour? Watch and pray, that you enter not into temptation. That's very important. Watching and praying reduces our tendency to enter into temptation. All right, so it shows the validity of our end time, watching and praying. The ruach indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. And that's it. Because the flesh is weak, we have to ensure that the ruach is revved up and connected at all times. So by praying and watching, focusing, walking in the Ruach, then we will ensure that the Ruach is lively at all times. The Ruach is active, keeping us on our toes, and the flesh is under subjection. Okay? So we're going to look at the process of elimination again. And we're going to start with the Old Testament only. And did you know that the Apostle Kepha had told us about the Old Testament only and warned us about them and telling us about them those days and telling us that they would come? Let's look. Old Testament only. The false teachers of the modern Old Testament only movement. These people are like a plague in the end time. They are rising fast. Many people breaking away because of the sinful nature. We're going to look as well. The sinful nature is breaking us and pushing us towards law. And we're going to see why we say the sinful man loves the law. That was why the Messiah had problems with the Pharisees, because the Pharisees, that's just law. Why? They could set boundaries, they could have an appearance of keeping the law and keep their old sinful selves behind what they appear to do in public. Yes? So the sinful man loves the law. But to be of emunah, to follow the Messiah, that is a task and a half for most of us, because we do not want to leave our sinful nature. So 2 Peter 2:1. Read, please.
But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privily shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the master that bought them, and bring upon them swift destruction.
You see that, Shamuel?
Yes.
Denying the master that bought them. Who bought them? You were bought at a price.
Yes.
You were redeemed through Messiah, Yahusha. These people are denying the Messiah, Yahusha. And what does it say? They are bringing upon themselves what? Swift destruction. They were there in the old. They are there now in this time. Everything that's happening then is now happening once again. Okay? Verse 2.
And many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of.
This is what I'm saying. Now, many people today are now running after this Old Testament only. Many. And by reason of whom the way of truth. So who is the way of truth?
Yahusha.
I am the way, the truth, and the life. Shall evil be spoken of? So they're speaking evil of Hamashiach. And they are bringing upon themselves, in verse 1, swift destruction. This is serious. This is Old Testament only straight. This is telling you about. All right? So 1 John 2:22 says, read please.
Who is a liar but he that denieth that Yahusha is Hamashiach? He is anti-Messiah, that denieth the Father and the Son.
That's it. So if they deny Yahusha Hamashiach, this is saying that they are liars. So anyone that comes and says the Old Testament only, that they are liars, because they deny the Messiah. He is anti-Messiah. So the Old Testament only movement is an anti-Messiah movement, because they deny the Father and the Son. You cannot accept the Father without the Son. Just like if a woman is getting married to a man and he has a son, you can't accept the husband and reject the son. I want to marry you, but no, I don't want to have anything to do with your son. That doesn't work out. I have to take both the Father and the Son. All right? I'm going to look more at this Old Testament thing and the propensity, what it actually brings out. All right? So we're going to look at sin. we're going to look at the penalty of death through sin. And as we have said many times before, we are under Adam's penalty of death through sin, because sin leads us to death. So read Romans 16, 22 and 23, please.
Know ye not that to whom ye yield yourselves servants to obey, his servants ye are to whom ye obey, whether of sin unto death or of obedience unto righteousness?
All right, so you have a choice. Are you going to follow sin unto death, or are you going to follow obedience, which leads to righteousness? Because verse 22 is going to tell you that when you follow the Messiah, you become free from sin. And we're going to look at how the law shows us what sin is and how the law makes sin very sinful in the man that does not follow Messiah, Yahusha. 22.
But now being made free from sin and become servants of allure and to allure, ye have your fruit unto holiness and the end everlasting life.
So there are two things. You either are a servant to sin or you're a servant to righteousness. But when you follow Yahusha, you walk in his righteousness, you become a servant to righteousness and therefore become free from sin. Verse 23.
For the wages of sin is death, but the gift of allure is eternal life through Yahusha HaMashiach our Master.
All right, so the wages of sin, the payment for sin is death. So for us to die, it is sin that leads us to our death. The more we sin, the quicker we end up going to our death. The more we sin, the shorter our lifespan, because the payment for sin is death. Okay? That's why he promises a long life for those who obey his commandments. Read Romans 5:21.
That as sin hath reigned unto death, even so might grace reign through righteousness unto eternal life by Yahusha HaMashiach our Master.
So Shaul is telling us there that just as sin reigned unto death because the wages of sin is death, so favor from the Most High will reign through righteousness, leading us unto eternal life when we believe in Yahusha HaMashiach. So we have the law and we have the Messiah. The Messiah leads us to righteousness, to eternal life, right? Romans 5:17 at the bottom.
For if by one man's offense death reigned by one, much more they which receive abundance of favor and of the mercy and of the gift of righteousness shall reign in life by one, Yahusha HaMashiach.
So just as how Adam was given that penalty of death and sin leads to death, so in HaMashiach we are given the favor of life, and that life will bring forth righteousness, and righteousness will bring us unto life. So sin unto death, righteousness unto life. So it's that belief in the Messiah that gives us and leads us unto life. So it's the Most High who has the sentence, is a judge giving the sentence, and he knows who has the gift of life and who has the gift of death. All right? So we have to die that physical death because of Adam's penalty. As Kepha had said in one of his epistles, that he is going the way of man. So we all have to go the way of men. But then the spirit is the other part now. The Ruach is the other part that comes up now. What happens? What happens in the Ruach? Do you have death in the Ruach, or do you have life in the Ruach? And that life we receive through Yahusha HaMashiach. Now, we lay that out now. Sin and death, righteousness and life. What we are going to look at now is something that I don't know if it has puzzled many people. Have you ever realized or wondered why people who take up the law, people who come and say they are believers now, following the way, how they can be so some of us, we can be so sinful. We are believers. We say we are following the law, but we are corrupt. We are sinful. We do some things you wonder and say, but we are worse than sinners. This occurs to me so many times. We are worse than sinners. I tell people all the while, I have better relationship with sinners than with believers. Trust me. And this is going to explain why. Right? When believers, I reach to the point where I'm actually afraid of believers. I don't know if anyone this has happened to anyone. And when believers come around you, you are there wondering when something will happen, when the evil will come out of that person. This has been my experience from I came in the way. And not even from I came into, started with religion in Christianity. I used to see people in there and the people as though there are so much animosity towards me. And I'm like, what did I do? What did I do? Yeah, they see you, they don't call to you. When they see you, they frown. And you're like, but I don't have anything with these people. What is wrong? You know, and when you really get the understanding now, you get to understand why. And we're going to show why all of this happens, especially those who now take up the law. So the law without Messiah. You see, when we approach the law, if we do not have Messiah right hand in hand, yes, evil is going to come out of us. Yes, evil. We cannot take up the law without Hamashiach, without faith or belief in Hamashiach. All right? It takes I don't know, especially in this time where the demonic forces have been unleashed and we are in Babylon. Because some people may say, hey, those people in Israel, back in the days, they obeyed the law. Yeah, they could obey the law because they had a system there, which makes it easier to obey the law. That is why some of the laws, the Most High said, when you go into the land, because when you're in the land, it is easier to be righteous. Why? You have an entire nation that is built on the laws that you are following. You have a temple system. You have system of atonement there at the time. Every day, the whole entire nation was focused on one thing. But being here in Babylon, being here corrupted by everything in Babylon, bombarded everywhere you go, Babylon with their evil staring you in the face everywhere you go, in your house, outside your house, evil. It is so much harder to be righteous following the law alone without the Messiah. So let's go. Romans 6:16 and 22 to 23. I think I just did that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was the foundation. So let's go to Romans 7:9 to 10. Romans 7:9 to 10. Read it, please.
All right. For I was alive without the law once, but when the commandment came, sin revived and I died.
Shaul is telling us what happens here with the law, and he's using himself as an example. Now, many of us, I didn't get the understanding of this for a long while, this particular verse, for a very long while. Because the Most High, of course, gives us understanding in increments. I don't know if anyone else had this understanding, but I got to realize I was alive without the law once. Remember, I said I have a better relationship with sinners than with believers. The sinner who does not have the law has not cranked up his sin nature to the point where has become more and more sinful. He does not have the law. He is just who he is. Let me see how I can explain it. he has his sinful tendencies, as we all do, and he has his sins. But those sins are usually kind of constant, kind of plain to see. So we can see him and know that is his limit. So I can know that, oh, he doesn't like this, or this will get him triggered, or that will get. So you can know how to deal with that person. So that person was alive without the law. But when the commandment came, sin, revival, and I died. When you bring the commandment to that person, the commandment shows us what sin is. So when that person now starts seeing that this is sin and that is sin and that is sin and oh, that is wrong and that is wrong, it arouses something in him through his sin nature, through his sinful nature. The Apostle Shaul called it the law of sin and death. Through his sin nature, it revives something in him, and he now gets more attracted to the sin. The more you tell him that this is sin, the more he gets attracted to the sin and gets evil. Read verse 10, please.
And the commandment which was ordained to life, I found to be unto death.
So the commandment that was there to show us life, to show us what sin is, it is bringing us to death because it arouses our sin nature. Our desire for sin gets cranked up and we become more evil. You're with me, Shamuel? I don't know if I explained it.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure. All right, so Romans 7, verse 7 to 8 now. We're going backwards. Read, please.
All right. What shall we say then? Is the law sin? Allah forbid. Nay, I had not known sin but by the law. For I had not known lust except the laws had said, thou shalt not covet.
So because of that now, we have to ask ourselves, so is something wrong with the law? It says Allah forbid. It is not the law that is the problem. Who is it? Who is the problem, Shamuel?
The carnal man, me.
I am the problem.
Yes.
All right? But verse 8 tells us what happens.
But sin, taking occasion by the commandment, wrought in me all manner of concupiscence. For without the law, sin was dead.
So the sin itself now, taking advantage of the law, wrought in me, stirred up in me all manner of lustful desires. Yes? For without the law, sin was dead. So before that person was exposed to the law, certain sins were actually not aroused in that person. But once you get exposed to the law, and the more you read the law, the more you read the law, the more it stirs up sinful desires in us.
It sounds, it's like when usually on social media, what people do is that if they want you to check out their videos, they say to you, I'm warning you, don't check out this video. And immediately people see that or people hear that, quickly curiosity is stirred in them, and then they go check out the video. All right. So it's that nature. The moment you hear this thing that you've been living all this while is finally you've been told that is wrong, quickly, it's like your conscience is awakened. And every time you're going to go do it, it's like there's this constant battle because now you know, you have the word now, you know, and you are stuck between making the choice. Is Brother Kazak there? Oh, he froze. There's this daring nature within all of us. At the moment is like you are fine out along when you are. I mean, that reminds me of back in the days when we used to go out and have fun to the club, you know, jollying and having and just bro, you back. I was just trying to make a point quickly. Are you back? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Oh, okay. Now I was just making some relations to some examples to these things. That the moment we hear, do not do this, it's as if suddenly the flesh rebellion just wakes up in us.
Yes.
It's like now you want to challenge that which you have heard. and
yes.
that's exactly what Shaul is speaking about.
Yes. So, yeah, go ahead.
A next example to what your brother Samuel is saying. Just imagine those guys who normally have their parties on Wednesdays. You know, they have their party from maybe evening till midnight, and they're having all the fun. It's nice to them. They come alive. The party come alive. And this thing is going on for many years. No problem. Everyone is having a great time. But the moment the police come and says, lock off the sound, it's midnight, then they're gonna realize that the real them will show up, quarreling, cursing, and fighting, because now they're gonna show that the sound must turn off at midnight. And all this time, they go way past midnight and still alive, no problem.
Excellent. That's a very ingenious way to say it. Makes all the sense. Yeah. So everything was okay before the law came and said. And then as the law said, all hell break loose. And so this is why believers that come around us, we have to understand, we have to point them to Yahusha. Or else they will only get more and more evil. And when we find our tendencies doing this and check ourselves and wait, why am I acting like this? Why am I doing this? Then it means that I need to turn more and look to Yahusha, HaMashiach. And that means to follow his commands, walk as he walked, love as he loved. Yes, because love is a probably primary thing that comes in. To love one another as he loved us. Because when you love one another and the law comes and your sin nature is telling you to transgress against your brother, that love of the Messiah will overcome everything, that every single sinful tendencies that you are having. Verse 11 to 13.
All right.
Read, please.
For sin, taking occasion by the commandment, deceived me, and by it slew me.
All right. So this is a very important word here. Deceived. You see, when we come in the way and we say we are following the commandments, so you got to go back to the Father's commandments. Yeah. Yes? We are going to be there following the commandments and believe that we are on the right path if we do not have HaMashiach right there walking hand in hand with us. So we are going to be deceived. So this is why reproof and rebuke is necessary from our brothers, because we are going to be deceived thinking we are on the right path, thinking everything is okay, not knowing that we are deceived.
Very true.
So when sin has deceived us, and we don't listen to our brothers, it's like we are our brothers or sisters. It's like we have put ourselves into a pit in which it is too tall for us to come out. Because the sin would have deceived us, and we cannot see the deception because we refuse to hear from our brothers and sisters. So it is sin. Hey, sin. Yes, it's sin. It is sin that says, hey, and as Brother Mahar said the other night, Satan is unfair. And he does everything without any respect or regard for anything or anyone. Imagine, he is using the commandment. He uses the commandment to deceive. Yes?
Yeah.
Remember, Satan is the father, the great deceiver. He is using even the commandment that we run to. So everyone you see running to the commandment, don't watch them. If they are not mentioning, if they are not living, if they are not talking, if they are not confessing Yahusha every single day and everything that they do, sins. taking occasion by the commandment, deceived me, and by it did what?
Slew me.
So if we are not living and dwelling in Hamashiach, we are going to be slain by the very thing we think is there to lead us to life. Hey.
So this is why you cannot be a follower of the way and not have Yahweh's judgment. I mean, it's impossible, because without it, you're not going to be surrounded by faithful brothers and sisters who are going to help you on this walk, because everybody is going to be scared to tell you the truth. Although they can see that, yes, you have maxed yourself with the belief that you are in Yahusha, where else, of course, your life is speaking other words. All right. You slander us, you covet, you do all these things, but somehow still come and sit in Shabbat teachings and make yourself believe that, oh, I'm part of this group. We are followers of the way. My eyes are open now. I know the truth now, so I'm safe. No, that is actually the deception. Because now that we have been awakened to what is right, it is important that we have others who are of like-mindedness, who are going to help, because we have to sharpen one another. Sharpen one another. If there is a fault, if we see you slacking, if there's something you see in me, you have to be able to tell me. You are help. This is love. Now we've risen past the filial love. Now we on what? The agape love, the hard part of love now. We are walking in one accord, helping to perfect one another by the word. All right. So if you don't have people who are telling you that, hey, what you're doing is wrong, then you are really in a pit, which is very dangerous. Continue, bro.
Yeah. Yes. All right. And verse 12 says,
wherefore the law is holy, and the commandment holy, and just and good.
And by the way, as we were doing a process of elimination, those people who reject Shaul, all of the different sets that we said reject Shaul, they will not get this understanding. All right? So whether you accept the Messiah or not, you're not going to get this understanding. And it is evident. Yeah.
No, sorry. I was just going to add to say, the interesting part is that these very same people who are rejecting Shaul, bro, and I pray that Yahuwah grants them mercy to come to understanding, is that they don't understand Shaul was far more of an olden guy than they are, was far more studious in the old ways.
Yes.
And now came into the light with Yahusha, through Yahusha. Yes. They don't understand. And that's where the confusion is. So if you reject Shaul, you have literally thrown away the very same person who could understand and relate with you, who's stuck in the Old Testament ways.
Yes.
This Shaul is supposed to be your light, to wake up to see that Mashiach is more important than the very laws you are holding there alone.
Yeah. Which is why he said, not having my own righteousness, which is of the law, but the righteousness which comes by Emunah in Yahushua Mashiach. And that is why the Most High chose a Pharisee who was so deep in the law, and so understood the law, and then to show him Hamashiach, to see the difference that it makes. And it is very, very enlightening for me, but for some, Anyway, Shaul is saying that the law is Kodesh, and the commandment Kodesh and just and good. So he's actually emphasizing again, nothing is wrong with the law. But verse 13 says,
was then that which is good made death unto me? Allah forbid. But sin, that it might appear sin, working death in me by that which is good, that sin by the commandment might become exceeding sinful.
So sin has taken root. Whoa. And using the law, that the more the law says thou shalt not, it is the more I want to do. That's it. And if anyone does not know that that is how they are, that is why you have what is called thrill seekers. There are some people, it has been shown, have a greater propensity to do that which they should not do than others. That's why people go and do bungee jumping and jump off bridges with things on them, because they are defying death, as they say. They are doing that which they know they should not be doing. That is why you have people climbing these mountains and climbing Mount Everest. There is a thing inside of us that what we are not supposed to do, there's something in us that telling us, do it.
Yes.
Do it. And that is why you have the Caucasians are so brave. Hey, everything that defies mankind that they say we should not do, that's what they do. But our people are known to be cowards when it comes to certain things. Right?
Yes. Yes.
Some people are just more prone to this rebellion than some, which is why you have some people more sinful than some. People, you can't lock everybody. Everybody's not the same. And this is a part of what we're going to do today with the Gentiles. We are different depending on the nation that you come from. The Most High told us our propensity that you are set apart, holy people. He created us to show forth his splendor and to show forth his praise. People are created different. All right? So it's sin that is working in us and taking occasion, hearing, you shall not do it, and giving us this magnet inside of us to say, hey, you shall not do it? No, man, I'm going to do it. But the Apostle Shaul found out the cure. In verse 21, he said, read please.
I fight then a law that when I would do good, evil is present with me.
Evil is present with me. When it's time to do good, evil says, no, man, what are you doing? Let's do evil. That's it. And it says it's a law. And that law inside of us is there because of this sentence that Adam was given. The penalty of death. In the day that you eat this, you shall surely die. And then sin leads us to death. So that is the law that is in us. Verse 22.
For I delight in the law of Allah after the inward man.
So we here as believers who say we are following the law, we love the law. The law is good. The law is great. We want to follow the law. We love it. But verse 23 says,
but I see another law in my members, warring against the law of my mind and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin which is in my members.
So even though you delight in the law, your body is saying otherwise. You want to do it in your mind, but your body is willing you otherwise. That will from the body, from the flesh, the carnal will is called the law of sin, which is in my body. Verse 24. So it's actually saying now in verse 24, oh boy, wretched man that I am, oh boy, how am I going to overcome this? Verse 24, read please.
O wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from the body of this death?
And he said, body of this death, to show that the body is going to always be prevailing over what you have in your mind, except, verse 25 says,
I thank Allah through Yahushua HaMashiach, our master. So then with the mind, I myself serve the law of Allah, but with the flesh, the law of sin.
So Old Testament only, and everyone who rejects the Messiah would not have that, would not have Yahushua HaMashiach, our master. Yes?
Yes.
So those of us who have Yahushua, who walk hand in hand with him, are now able to serve the law of Allah, while the law of sin is there in our members, ruling in our members. Our minds, our ruach overpowers the flesh. And that is why he said we must walk in the ruach, and you will not fulfill the lust of the flesh. All right? So walking in the ruach, you will be walking in obedience to the Messiah. So people, this is why you have something to say?
Brother Maha.
Something on verse 23.
Yes.
When we look and see where the law of sin is, it is right in our members, right? That
Yeah.
means
Yes.
there is no way at all we can make this work on our own. Look and see
Yes.
this right in our members. So
Mm-hmm.
we have to get ourselves from the way and allow the rock to lead us into all righteousness. We cannot fight this sin on our own. It is so impossible. It is so close, right in our members. The law, it is actually the law of sin. It has to be there. So to show us that we are not good, we are not worthy, because it is a law, a sin law. So it has to be the Most High who will take care of that part for us. So just to point out that let's not try on our own to overcome all these things that's taking place in our bodies.
And
Yeah.
what you just said, put the nail in the coffin of the Old Testament only on everyone who rejects Messiah. Because Messiah was the one who the Most High gave us to give us the strength to overcome the flesh. Without belief in Messiah, we will not have the strength to overcome the flesh, and hence sin, the law of sin, will be ruling us.
Brother Kazaka, hold on. Sorry, who is using the iPhone? You need to mute your mic, please. Mute your mic, please. Thank you very much. All right. Okay, bro, you can go ahead.
All right. So that is actually to show us that we are basically hopeless without the Messiah. And so any of our beliefs that does not include involve the Messiah, we are going to be in serious problems. Serious problems. Okay? All right. So we also looked on one of the times the fact that if you obey the law only, if you just seek to obey the letter of the law, just need to look in the law and to figure out, obey this or obey that, then you will be in problem because these sins are not found directly in the law. Can you read them, please, Shamuel? We had looked at this a few weeks ago. Read them, please.
All right. An high look and a proud heart, and the plowing of the wicked is sin. That is in Proverbs 21, verse 4.
All right. And these are not laid out in the Torah directly. Continue, please.
The thought of foolishness is sin, and the scorner is an abomination to men.
Thought of foolishness is sin. This is not found directly in the Torah. So if you transgress any of these, those who are Torah only are going to transgress all of these and not know that they are actually sinning. Romans 14:23, read please.
And he that doubteth is damned if he eat, because he eateth not of faith. For whatever is not of faith is sin.
Whatever is not of faith is sin. That is not laid out in the Torah. Thou must have faith. It's not in Torah. So those who are Old Testament only are going to sin and not know that they are actually sinning. James 4:17, read please.
Okay, therefore to him that knoweth to do good and doeth it not, to him it is sin.
This is not there directly in Torah. So those who are Old Testament only will transgress this. But if you are walking in Messiah, you are going to be walking in total righteousness, with total humility, with total love, with forgiveness, with emunah,
charity,
mercy, long-suffering, all of those attributes.
Yeah.
Then you will not be doing all of these things because you will not be looking out for anything for yourself. You'll be walking in emunah or faith. All right? You will be doing whatever is right, you will be led to do. You will not be thinking about foolishness. And being in Messiah, you can easily overcome all of these 4 sins that we just showed a while ago. Okay? Romans 7, verse 5 at the top, please.
See, before we go to that verse, what you just said a while ago will tie into, I think it is Revelation 3, I don't remember. But when the Messiah knocks on your door, if any man hears an answer, he will come in, and where he stop, he will stop. That means it will be taken over by
Yes.
the rock. And as
Yes.
we keep on holding on, that is it. He will lead us into all righteousness.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like using one stone kill many birds by choosing the way of Yahushua Mashiach.
Yes. And remember, it says he will lead us into all truth as well.
Yes.
So it is this fellowship we have with Hamashiach through Ruach HaKadosh, the Holy, what they call the Holy Spirit, that will lead us into all truth and into all righteousness. Otherwise, as you had said before, we cannot do it on our own. Otherwise, we'll be doing it on our own, of our own effort, of our own selves. And then we would be powerless because the sin nature will be there pushing us towards disobedience. And we would have nothing that will turn us towards obedience because we'll be powerless against our sin nature. Romans 7 verse 5.
For when we were in the flesh, the motions of sin, which were by the law, did work in our members to bring forth fruit unto death.
No, the people who love the law, these are things that they used to say. Apostle Shaul is fault. He fought against the law. He spoke against the law. He taught against the law. No, he's being practical. He's telling us that's the sin nature. When you're walking in the flesh, not in the ruach, when you're in the flesh, then the motions of sin, the movement of sin, which were shown by the law, did work in our body to lead us unto death, because the wages of sin were death, is death. So our sin nature wills us unto sin, which leads us to death. But verse 6 says,
but now we are delivered from the law, that being dead wherein we were held, that we should serve in newness of spirit, and not in the oldness of the letter.
So what it means by being delivered from the law means that we are now in a new covenant through belief in the Messiah. All right, so we do not live according to the letter of the law. Do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that. Now we walk in the righteousness of Yahusha, which leads us to obey the spirit of the law. Very important. You see those 4 sins over there on the left? When you're walking to the letter of the law, you will transgress them. If you're walking in the ruach, in the spirit of the law, then you will not transgress them because you'll be walking in the righteousness of Yahusha. So, being delivered from the letter of the law, walking in the spirit of the law, you are now walking in the spirit of Yahusha HaMashiach. And so, just as he did not sin, then you also will not sin. That's what Shaul was trying to say. He was not saying that the law is done or you should not obey the law. He's just saying that you are not caught up in the letter of the law. Letter of the law means literally what it says. Okay, thou shalt not kill. Okay, I have not killed, so I have not that. No. The word went on to tell, I think it was the Messiah, if you hate your brother, you're a murderer. That's the spirit of the law. Now look at the difference. If you don't murder someone in the old covenant, then you can say, I did not murder. I am okay. But the Messiah is saying, if you hate your brother, then you are a murderer. It's a higher level. Now, if you obey the spirit of the law, not hating your brother, then guess what? That will wrap up a whole lot of sins you will not commit. Because if you don't hate your brother, if you love your brother, you're not going to covet him. You're not going to be gossiping about him. You are not going to be despising him. You're not going to be grudging him. You're not a whole lot of things.
Avoiding.
So that is why the spirit of the law is what he's talking about, serving newness of ruach or spirit, and not in the oldness of the letter. Okay?
Yeah.
Right. So then, knowing all this, we walk after the ruach. Romans 8, verse 1 to 10. Romans 8, 1 to 10. Read, please.
There's therefore no condemnation to them which are in Mashiach Yahusha, who walk not after the flesh, but after the spirit.
All right, so there's no condemnation. This came after Romans 7 that told us about our sin nature. It is actually saying now, as long as you are in Hamashiach Yahusha and you're not walking after the flesh, you are not led by your sinful nature, but you are led by the Ruach of Yahuwah, then there is no condemnation for you. Verse 2.
For the law of the spirit of life in Mashiach Yahusha hath made me free from the law of sin and death.
All right, the law of the Ruach of life in Mashiach Yahusha. Remember, righteousness leads to life. Sin leads to death. So when you are in the righteousness of Yahusha, you are brought into life. And that now makes you free from the law of sin and death. It was not saying that the law is sin and death. It's saying the law of sin and death that works inside our members. It's not calling the law sin here. It's saying the law of sin and death that is in our members, which is our propensity to sin, which leads us to death. All right, so this is not the law he's talking about. He's talking about when in Romans 7 he says, I find a law that when I would do good, evil presents itself. Verse 3.
For what the law could not do, in that it was weak through the flesh, Allah sending his own son in the likeness of sinful flesh, and for sin, condemned sin in the flesh.
All right, so the law was weak through the flesh. What does it mean that the law was weak through the flesh, Shamuel?
Being carnal beings, there was no way we could fulfill this law.
Yeah. Essentially mean the flesh will not allow us to obey it.
Obey naturally the Most High, yes.
Yeah, the flesh will not allow us to obey it because of the law of sin and death that is in us, the propensity to sin. So the Most High sent his own son in the likeness of sinful flesh, and for sin condemned sin in the flesh. So he walked as someone who overcame sin as a man in the flesh. So we too can believe on him, and believing on him, that's not in your mind. Believe on him, walking as he walked. 1 John 2:6. He that saith he abideth in him ought himself so to walk as he walked. And John 15:4-6 tells us, abide in me and I in you. And if any man does not abide in me, it's like trash ready to be burned. So a branch ready to be burned. So we have to abide in him. And by abiding in him, then we can overcome sin. Verse 4.
That the righteousness of the law might be fulfilled in us, who walk not after the flesh, but after the spirit.
All right, so we see that Shaul here was not actually fighting against the law. He's telling you about the righteousness of the law, and he's telling you about sin, and our sin nature is not blaming the law, but he's just showing the place that the law takes in our lives. So the righteousness of the law might be fulfilled in us, who do not walk after the flesh, do not walk after the letter of the law, or according to our own sinful desires, but we walk after the Ruach, walking in the Ruach, led by the Ruach Mashiach unto righteousness. Verse 5.
For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the spirit, the things of the spirit.
So this is why we as spiritual beings have to focus on spiritual things, not minding the things of the world. Hey, some of us as believers, all we do in this world is talk about things that happen in this world. Yes, we talk about things that happen because we're in the world, but it should not be our primary focus. Our primary focus must be on things of the... I wonder if disk space insufficient. Whoa. Keep talking, Shamuel. I have to see if I can empty out some of this thing here.
All right, cool. So what we basically talking about, all right? I'm hoping this will help somebody as well. Now, if we focus on spiritual things, now what does that mean? We all know that faith cometh by what? By hearing. And by hearing what? Hearing the word of the Most High, all right? Now, the more we listen, we read the word, the more our spirit man is filled by and with the word. All right. In other words, constantly what we will be prone to be thinking about will be what would be about how to please the Most High. And so even during your day, as you go in about your day, even when you're exposed to sin, it's not going to be easy because you are easily going to be prompted and quickened by the very same word, because that is what your heart and your mind is focused on continually. So this is what Shaul is breaking down. This is sometimes why we say, Peter says Shaul is very hard, difficult to understand. And if you don't take the time out, you are going to end up picking what suits your carnal man and using it. Whereas Shaul is using that as an analogy just to be able to explain the importance of why we need to abide in the Messiah and obey the word. All right. So we are talking about spiritual things, and then and obviously the flesh, the carnal man. What differentiates them? If you are in the world and you are constantly chasing money, constantly chasing opportunities, businesses, all that you're going to be consumed by is the worries, the cares, everything that has to do with life, because you want to fit into it. All right. So the easier it is to find yourself doing all the wrong things, that goes against who? Goes against the Most High. So you cannot serve two masters. You either withdraw and love the Most High more and try to live to please him by doing what? By constantly dwelling in his word and meditating on it. Are you back, bro? If you're back, let me know.
Yeah, I'm back.
All right.
Yes.
And constantly dwelling on it. All right.
Constantly meditating on him and on spiritual things. And spiritual things are broad and wide. You could be concentrating on your fellow brothers and sisters. You could be concentrating on the word. You could be concentrating on the end times. You could be concentrating on prayer and watching, on so many things. But as it says, set your affection on things above. Because verse 6 says,
for to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace.
Carnally minded is death, because if you're carnally minded, then you are going to sin. That's just about it. There is no righteousness in being carnally minded. But to be spiritually minded, to be filled with the Ruach, is life and shalom. Because spiritual mindedness brings us to righteousness, which gives us life and shalom. Verse 7.
Because the carnal mind is enmity against Alua, for it is not subject to the law of Alua, neither indeed can be.
So if our mind is carnal, it means that we are enemies with the Most High. So when you have doctrines or teachings that are telling us about the world and attain this in the world and prosperity this and prosperity that, it says it's enmity. If we are focused on materialism, it's enmity. If we are focused on fun, on things that excite the flesh, it's enmity against Alua, because it cannot be subject to the law of Alua. Because the carnal man cannot obey the Most High's commands, because of the law and sin and death that is in our members, that is going to be drawing us towards death. Verse 8.
So then they that are in the flesh cannot please Alua.
Cannot. Impossible. Verse 9.
But ye are not in the flesh, but in the spirit. If so be that the spirit of Alua dwell in you. Now, if any man have not the spirit of Mashiach, he is none of his.
No. You see how many of us as believers are actually cut off and we don't know?
Yeah.
How many believers you can see that has the Ruach Mashiach? How many of us as believers, even remotely, manifest the life of Yahusha in us? He says we are none of his. And this is why this teaching today is very important, because it shows us the path that we need to travel on. If you're traveling on the wrong path, you will reach to the wrong destination. You cannot be traveling on the road. You cannot be traveling from Florida to New York, take and you usually take this highway, and you take the highway going in the opposite direction and expect to reach, unless you go all the way around and rigmarole before you reach. Yes?
Yes.
But when you are traveling on this road, this way, there is only one way. Traveling to New York and you go another direction, you can, go and take another highway and connect and go. But with this way, there is only one way. And that is Yahushua HaMashiach. Okay?
Yes.
Verse 10.
And if Mashiach be in you, the body is dead because of sin, but the spirit is life because of righteousness.
What does it mean now, Shamuel? Let me see. How this one go?
If the very same spirit in Yahusha is in you, then certainly you would be denying yourself to be able to live out that which is pleasing to the Most High Yahuwah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, that's it. All right. So what it's saying, if Messiah is actually in you, the body is dead because of sin is going to lead the body to death. But it is the Ruach that is going to be alive, because Messiah was going to be in you through his Ruach. Yeah. And that Ruach is a Ruach of righteousness. And therefore, you will be led to life. And you will be able to walk in righteousness because your body is being led by your Ruach, which is leading you to life through righteousness in Yahusha. All right?
Yes. So, in other words, if men reject you, then they have rejected the Ruach of the Messiah and Yahuwah, all at the same time.
Yes. And that's why it says they have not rejected you, they have rejected me.
Yes.
So when you are speaking through the Ruach Mashiach in you, and people reject it, they're actually rejecting HaMashiach. And by rejecting HaMashiach, they're actually rejecting Yahuwah Sabaoth. Okay?
And verse 10.
Yeah.
And also on that same verse 10. And if HaMashiach be in you, the body is dead because of sin. It shows that the Ruach and the flesh cannot dwell in the same place. Because when the Ruach take over, sin have to run, right? The body become dead because of sin, because it was sin the flesh was operating of. But since the Ruach is there now, life because of righteousness. With the Ruach, your life will all be about righteousness going forward, unless you be rebellious and go your own way. But that is the procedure I'm seeing there, the order.
Yes.
And based on what you just said, Brother Maha, it is very true, because how do we know we are operating in that Ruach Mashiach? All right. We know it by our submission. All right. We know it by our submission, because when you have the Ruach of Mashiach in you, it's not going to be difficult for you to forgive people. Yes. All right. Because you are no longer serving your own self. You are no longer your own master, because your intellect will be telling you how stupid you are. These people hurt you. These people did this to you. They said that about you. If the Ruach Mashiach is inside of you, you have long forgone your own intellect and yourself, and you are being led by the very same Ruach that led Yahusha even to the stake. In submission, you will be able to go to your brothers and sisters and be able to apologize and plead and beg for mercy. Even if you are right, you can still be able to restore peace because of the spirit of humility. All right.
Oh man, the radio was not on. Oh boy. Every time this internet goes, causes problem. I have to be remembering a whole chain of things to do.
Samuel, in the meantime, when we think about body, we think about the flesh. So we see if self is denied, you see where sin must stay back bench, always behind.
Yes.
Because the flesh is just so loving the things that excite it. The sin at times appear to be so exciting, so that is why the flesh really have to be denied.
Yeah. And another way to be able to deny the flesh is why we constantly need to meditate on the word. We need to read because we need more. Because it says emunah comes by what? By hearing. So the more we hear, the word is going to make it very hard for us to not easily go back to doing the same things. It's going to convict you. The very old things that you used to do naturally without thinking about them, suddenly once you hear the word, once you're reading the word, and you're going back to that very same sin, you hear a voice say to you, hey, but that's wrong. Hey, that's wrong. You need to stop. And then you start to think, oh, no, no, no. And then there is a constant battle in you until you decide to die to the conscience, to your conscience, the word that is being prompting you to say, leave it. You die to it, and you choose the carnal man to fulfill the pleasures of your flesh.
All right. So we look. I think last week look at these. I'm not going to go through these scriptures. I'm just going to use it there for reference. That Yahushua Mashiach is a stumbling stone for those who are disobedient, but precious to those who are obedient. And you can look at Yeshayahu 28:16, Isaiah 28:16, Romaim 9:30-33, 1 Peter 2:6-10. Hamashiach, the stumbling stone. And the reason we do this to show that those who reject Hamashiach are committing spiritual suicide. He is the stumbling stone, the divider between those who seek after righteousness and those who are going to be rejected. Okay?
Yeah.
So Hamashiach is a witness to the truth as well. John 3:16-21. He is a witness to the truth, because you cannot say the law is the truth without referencing the witness that the Most High gave us of the truth, who is Yahusha. So to say, oh, the law is the truth, I don't need any other truth, I don't need anything else. In the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, a matter is established. Hamashiach was given to us in our covenant as a witness for the truth. Read verse 16, please.
For Allah so loved the world, the earth, that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life.
All right, this is the verse, of course, where everyone in this world loves, because it makes them think they have a free ticket into the kingdom, and it makes them think that it's ABC, everyone is equal when you come to the Gentiles. And you speak to the Gentiles, first thing they say, John 3:16, they have no idea of what is actually required of them. As I said before at the start, the requirements for us are different. We have gone through oppression and captivity and abuse and rejection and whatever negative word you can do for hundreds of years, while you have been given the world and being on top of the world for hundreds of years. Do you think the Most High is being the righteous judge is just going to let you walk in so easy without you having to repay? Anyway, don't want to go off. We are going to look at that in the Gentile salvation. John 3:17, read please.
For Allah sent not the Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved.
Continue.
He that believeth on him is not condemned, but he that believeth not is condemned already, because he hath not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of Allah.
So the Old Testament people will tell us, oh, this is forged, this is foolishness. If this is true, then it means that the Old Testament only, those who reject the Messiah, are already condemned, even while they are walking there, going around preaching, putting up their verses on social media, going around preaching with their Bibles. They are already condemned and do not know it. Verse 19.
And this is the condemnation, that light is come into the world, and men loved darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil.
All right. So here is now. We must have sense now. When we read about Hamashiach, we have to ask ourselves, Is this righteousness or is this man unrighteous? Is this light or is this darkness? That's the question we have to ask ourselves. Because if we reject him, then he would have loved darkness rather than light, because whatever he's speaking is truth, is love, righteousness.
Yes.
And we must know and can sense in ourselves that which is righteous from that which is not.
Yes.
Verse 20.
For everyone that doeth evil hateth the light, neither cometh to the light, lest his deeds should be reproved.
Mm-hmm. So everyone that doeth evil, that's why the Old Testament only will be attractive to the sinful man. The sinful nature does not want the light, does not want the righteousness. A lot of people don't understand this Old Testament only. It is sin actually deceiving them and slaying them. Because the law showing them what sin is, they're attracted to sin, and so they reject the light. Verse 21.
But he that doeth truth cometh to the light, that his deeds may be made manifest, that they are wrought in allure.
When we come before Messiah and try to match up ourselves with Messiah, our deeds are manifest easily, shows us that whether or not we are sinful. We are lacking. We are lacking in love. We are lacking in this. But we do this so that our deeds can be made manifest. But rejecting this now, imagine now rejecting the Messiah. The Messiah said, he that hateth his brother is a murderer. When I reject, when I reject this now, that means that I'm no longer a murderer when I hate my brother. Even though Torah tells us that you must not hate your brother in your heart. Okay? But when you take away Messiah, it removes so many things. When he says, if any man follow me, let him deny himself. Now, all of a sudden, I don't need to deny myself. Just think about that.
Bro.
How can I find righteousness if I do not deny myself?
Yes. Now, many of them probably might deny the Mashiach because let me stick to what I want to say. The Messiah is demonstrating what it means to truly love your brother. All right. So we see his relationship. We see the example that he showed with his relationship with his brothers, that the Messiah didn't have more than his brothers. All right. He didn't have $1 million and his brother had $10 and $20 and $50. No, everything that he had, they had equally the very same thing. What he ate, they ate. So now, if you say you are an Old Testament, you are a Torah believing only, my question is, are you able to give that which you have equally to those that are around you? And this is where you realize many will be stuck in the sense of loving your neighbor, not understanding the true depth of it, except you have the Mashiach to see what it really means.
And remember when they were walking, who had the bag with the money? Judas. Judas had the bag with the money, and Judas was the one who was more carnal than anybody else.
The main man.
Messiah did not have his own value.
Yeah.
So, it is this light that we are rejecting, this way of righteousness that we are rejecting. And it is very, very, very sad. All right? And as we said last time, believing on Hamashiach is believing on Yahuwah. John 5:24. Read, please.
Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that heareth my word and believeth on him that sent me hath everlasting life, and shall not come into condemnation, but is passed from death unto life.
All right, so there we go. If we do not believe in the New Testament, which means we do not believe in Hamashiach, we do not believe in the Most High. It's as simple as that. If you do not believe in the New Testament, you do not believe in the Most High. Without belief in the Son, John 5:24 is telling us we do not have eternal life. Because if you believe in the Son, then you have eternal life. Very, very simple.
And you can
Yeah.
show the people what you're saying in Torah, Deuteronomy 18:18. You can show them why you're saying what you're saying, because that's what Yahuwah says. If no man believes in the Son, all right,
Yeah.
then you are going to be condemned, because you will have Yahuwah to face, which is the truth.
Let me get it. Coming up.
Brother Maha, you can speak whilst Brother Kazak brings it up.
No, I'm here.
I was saying that, I did not know that there are people who did not believe at all in the New Testament. I really did not know that. And so when I'm hearing all these things, such people will not deny themselves. That's one. They're not going to believe in the Messiah. So, I mean, it is showing, that verse in Exodus is showing up so more that the amount that will be perished is like a wave.
Yes.
And the amount that will be saved is like a drop. Because to hear that people really don't believe at all in the New Testament, I mean, who are they living by today? How are they going to go through the side? I mean, both sides. I mean, there's no shortcut. It has to be through Yahushua HaMashiach.
Yes.
And if they don't believe in him, how are they going to get across to Father?
By their own righteousness. That's what they are trying to do. So this is Deuteronomy 18:18. Oh, it's there. Okay.
Yeah.
It says, I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren like unto thee, and I will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him. So every word that is coming in the New Testament from the Messiah that you are rejecting, guess what? It is not whose word? It is not the Messiah's word. It's whose word? It's Yahuwah's word. So if you say you truly believe in the Old Testament, if you really, 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 really believe in the Old Testament, here you are. The Most High is telling you. Now, when we go down to, I think, verse 19, bro, you can scroll up a bit to 19.
Yeah.
It says, and it shall come to pass that whosoever will not do what? Will not hearken unto him, will not listen to him. Listen to what? Listen to all the words that he shall speak in Yahuwah's name. All right. I will require it of him. So who is going to damn you when you don't listen and believe in this Messiah? There we go. And the very same passage takes us to John 3:17. And that's what John 3:17, the Messiah is articulating. He's emphasizing on the severity of what the Father is saying. In fact, the Messiah is saying, I'm pleading with you, please just hear me. All right. Even if you don't believe me, believe in what I'm saying, believe in the miracles that I do. It says, for Allah sent not his son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. How is the world going to be saved through him? They need to believe on the words that he's speaking. That is not his own. It is that of the Most High, just as what Brother Kazak is doing here today.
And go to verse 18.
And then verse 18, it says, he that believeth on him is not condemned, but he that believeth not is condemned already, because he hath not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of Elohim. So this is very dangerous. This is very, very dangerous. If these two scriptures do not sum it up and make you start questioning and thinking, brothers and sisters, you are in danger. And that's all we are saying. We're saying, give it a chance and reconsider and look at it. Even if you don't understand, you have brothers and sisters that you can walk in love and share and ask questions. Let us also bring clarity and help you to understand. All right. There is no need to keep knowledge above you. That's not what we seek to do. We want everyone to come to power with all of us, to be in one spirit, one accord. So understanding is key to the words. Without listening and obeying to the words of the Messiah, you are in danger of Yahuwah. Let him be your dread. Okay.
And let's look at the danger here. Here's the danger now. Those who reject Yahusha are counted as his enemies.
Yes.
Yeshayahu 55, verse 1. Isaiah 55, 1. Is this right? Let me see. Let me get this back.
There's also one in Luke
1 to 11. Yeah, it's right.
Yeah.
It's right.
It's right. Okay.
1 to 11. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Ho, everyone that's thirsted, come ye to the waters, and he that hath no money, come ye, buy and eat. Yea, come, buy wine and milk without money and without price. 2.
All right. What we're gonna do? We're gonna look at a parable, and we're gonna show that the buying, the value that is in the parable is actually referring to the word. The Messiah is going to call to account for what they did with the money, for what they did with what he gave them. But we're going to see that it is the equivalent of us being called to account for what we did with the words that he gave us. Continue.
2. Wherefore do ye spend money for that which is not bread, and your labor for that which satisfieth not? Hearken diligently unto me, and eat ye that which is good, and let your soul delight itself in fatness.
It's the word we have to be feasting on when he gives us this money. Continue.
Incline your ear and come unto me. Hear, and your soul shall live, and I will make an everlasting covenant with you, even the sure mercies of David.
This is talking about the end time. Incline your ear, come unto me, hear, and your soul shall live. The Most High gave us his word. He sent his prophet. Are we going to hear and live? I will make an everlasting covenant with you. What is the everlasting covenant? The new covenant that is in Messiah. Are we going to hear this prophet that he is going to send from the lineage of David, the sure mercies of David? Verse 4.
Behold, I have given him for a witness to the people, a leader and commander to the people.
Now this is the word. This is a person. This is the one that the Most High sent, and to speak to him and speak through him to us. Are we going to hear? Verse 5.
Behold, thou shalt call a nation that thou knowest not, and nations that knew not thee shall run unto thee because of Yahuwah thy Elohim, and for the Holy One of Israel, for he hath glorified thee.
This is speaking about Hamashiach people. Nations that knew not thee shall run unto thee. This, of course, happened through David, but this prophecy is for the end times. Verse 6.
Seek ye Yahuwah while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near.
Continue.
Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts, and let him return unto Yahuwah, and he will have mercy upon him, and to our Allah, for he will abundantly pardon.
Now hear this, verse 8.
For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith Yahuwah.
Now this is it with the Old Testament and the New Testament. People are evaluating Shaul for how he interpreted what the prophecies were or what the Messiah was about. They are evaluating him based on their thoughts. So for example, the word says this circumcision is an everlasting covenant. We went to the Gentiles and tell them that circumcision doesn't matter. It is whether or not you are transformed into a new creature. That is what really matters. And they say Shaul is speaking about the against the everlasting covenant and this and that and that and that. What did the Most High say in verse 8? My thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways. Verse 9.
For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts.
So his ways are bigger than our ways. So we just laid that foundation now to get us to the Luke 19:11-26. The parable in Luke 19:11-26. We're going to show how relevant it is to what we are actually saying today.
How can Shaul be lying, brother Kazak? How can Shaul be lying about this circumcision thing? Because what benefit will circumcision do for you when you are still being rebellious? How is circumcision going to save you when you are disobeying the word of the Most High? It makes no sense, because sin is what leads you to damnation. So you can be circumcised and you can walk according to your own ways and realize in the end that you have actually missed it. So circumcision has literally done you no good. All right.
Yes.
And that's why Shaul goes ahead to say, do not say because you are the son of who? Because you are the children of Abraham. So automatically you are going to qualify. No. All right. It is outright obedience. This is what it is. It is submission and walking as Mashiach, who is our tabernacle, walked. And that is what it's about. All right. Luke 19. Verse 11. Should I start from? Okay, cool. And as they heard these things, he added and spake a parable, because he was near to Jerusalem, and because they thought that the kingdom of Allah should immediately appear. He said, therefore, a certain nobleman went into a far country to receive for himself a kingdom and to return. And he called. All right.
So who is this now? This is speaking about Yahushua Mashiach. All right.
Yeah. Yes.
Continue.
And he called his 10 servants and delivered them 10 pounds and said unto them, occupy till I come. 14.
These are us now.
Yes.
When you come to Yahushua Mashiach, we are given talents, we are given gifts. All right. And we are given the word to speak the word and to do what is needed with the word. And we are going to be rewarded according to what we did with the word. That's why we use Isaiah to show that he says you buy it, what you have, you don't need to buy with money. Verse 14.
But the citizens hated him and sent a message after him, saying, we will not have this man to reign over us.
Hey. So
Old
all
Testament,
those people, yes.
Old Testament believers, there they are.
Yes. You got it. Verse 15.
And it came to pass that when he was returned, having received the kingdom, then he commanded these servants to be called up unto him, to whom he had given the money, that he might know how much every man had gained by trading.
How much have you gained? What did you do with what I gave you? Did you flat out reject it? What did you do with it? Verse 15.
And it came to pass that when he was returned, having received the kingdom.
No, you did that already. 16.
Yes. Then came the first, saying, Master, thy pound hath gained 10 pounds. 17. And he said unto him, well, thou good servant, because thou hast been faithful in a very little, thou have thou authority over 10 cities. Wow.
Remember, the promise said that we will rule the nations.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So it is, what did we do with the word? What did we do with the word? And what did we do with the gifts, the spiritual gifts that we received? What did we do with it? Verse 18.
Wow. And the second came, saying, Master, thy pound hath gained 5 pounds. And he said likewise to him, be thou also over 5 cities. And another came, saying, Master, behold, here is thy pound, which I have kept laid up in a napkin.
He didn't do anything with his. Continue.
That's very. For I fear thee, because thou art an austere man. Though thou takest up that thou laidest. Oh, come on. Thou takest up that thou layest not down, and reapest that thou didst not sow.
If you speak to these people, this is one of the things that they say about Hamashiach. Hamashiach doesn't need any helper. It's he who did it. He alone. He don't need anyone to help him. It says, thou layest not down and reapest, thou takest up that which thou layest not down, and reapest that which thou didst not sow.
Yes.
It's actually saying that the Messiah is actually benefiting not from what he did, but from what Yahuwah did.
Hmm.
Yes?
Yes.
Continue.
Yes. And he saith unto him, out of thine own mouth will I judge thee, thou wicked servant, that thou knewest that I was an austere man, taking up that I laid not down, and reaping that I did not sow.
This
Wherefore,
Yahuwah who did this. All right, continue. Verse 23.
Yeah, wow. So they are denying the master. They knew him, but they denied him in works. This is
Yes.
wherefore then gavest not thou my money into the bank, that at my coming I might have required mine own with usury. And he said
Continue.
unto them that stood by, take from him the pound and give it to him that hath 10 pounds. And they said unto him, Master, he hath 10 pounds. For I say unto you that unto everyone which hath shall be given, and from him that hath not, even that he hath shall be taken away from him.
All right, so here is the key verse now in all of this now. Here is the killer. Verse 27. Read, please.
But those mine enemies, that is those who would, but those my enemies which would not that I should reign over them, bring hither and slay them before me.
Hey! It's
Wow.
not going to be a lamb that is returning.
Wow.
It's not going to be a lamb. And we're going to show a couple more instances. Enemies will be slain. Yes? So, an example again, the unbelievers and those who take the mark of the beast shall not stand before the Son of Man. The unbelievers. Read Mark 16:16, please.
He that believeth and is baptized shall be saved, but he that believeth not shall be damned.
Hey, you can't stand before the Son of Man. Baptism is an enemy. Those people are saying that they, what do you call it? Huh? Baptism is the word. I have it. They do not believe. It says they shall be damned. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. This drop is looking like a very small drop. More and more.
Yeah.
Now, those who take the mark of the beast also shall not stand before the Son of Man when he comes, to show that when he returns, it will be slaying before him. What a destruction when Hamashiach returns. What a thing this will be. That's why we have to strive to be on the right side of him. Because when he returns, it's not going to be pretty. Revelation 19:11, 9-11, 14:9-11, please.
All right. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Elohim, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb.
All right, that's just what I want to see. Tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the set-apart angels and in the presence of the Lamb. The Messiah is coming back. He will not play. Yeah? So, the true salvation, that's what we're looking at. We just eliminated, let me see. We just eliminated, let me see what we eliminated. We eliminated the Old Testament only, Messiah is false. We eliminated the New Testament only, Messiah but law done away, because the law is not done away with. We need the law to show us what sin is. We eliminated number 3, the whole Bible, Messiah but law done away. We eliminated that. Number 4, we eliminated the whole Bible, law plus Messiah minus the Apostle Shaul or Paul. We eliminated that because we see that we need Shaul's teachings to get us into true righteousness and to get us into true understanding of what the new covenant is about. Number 5, the whole law, the whole Bible, the law plus the Messiah plus Shaul, that has not been eliminated. So coming up in a few, we are going to look at the Gentiles now, because whether or not the Gentiles overcome the first hurdles, there is another hurdle here for the Gentiles. So let's go, continue, and see the true salvation. Salvation belongs to the children of Yasharal. Gentiles are allowed to essentially hitch a ride. Gentiles think that because they say the salvation, they have salvation. John 3:16, they believe that everything is equal. You're no level with the children of Israel. There is no difference. You are good. You're all equal. One in the kingdom. As we say in Jamaica, not no go so. John 4:22. And not no go so means there is no such thing. John 4:22. No such thing. Read John 4:22, please.
Ye worship ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Yahudims.
Salvation is of the Yahudim. Salvation belongs to Israel. Right? And if it is from or comes from or of the Yahudim, and Gentiles are allowed. Why is it important for the Messiah to say this? Because it is our salvation and you simply hitch a ride. If I'm going along my way with my car, with my vehicle, and someone is thumbing a ride, as they used to do, don't know if they do that anymore because of how the world has gotten wicked. Someone is thumbing a ride as they do. It is my option whether or not to carry the person. All right? I am in charge. I am driving. That person now hitches a ride with me and gets helped because I am able to have a ride. Same thing with our salvation. The salvation is of the Yahudim. The Gentiles are able to come on to our salvation. That does not make them equal with us. That does not make them have the same salvation as us. That's what we're going to see. Romans 9:3-5. So it's going to be very, very important with the Gentiles. Very important. Because they have been deceived. Romans 9:3-5. Read, please.
For I could wish that myself were accursed from Mashiach for my brethren, my kinsmen according to the flesh, who are Israelites,
Continue.
to whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of our Elohim and the promises.
All right. Shaul here was speaking. He says his brethren, according to the flesh, are Israelites. And it says, remember we just said salvation is of the Yahudim? It says, to whom pertaineth the adoption, the splendor, the covenant, the giving of the law, the service of Allah, and the promises, everything, the promises, everything belongs to us. Verse 5.
Whose are the fathers, and of whom, as concerning the flesh, Mashiach came, who is over all, Allah blessed forever.
So everything belongs to us because we belong to the fathers, those who are in the scriptures, and according to the flesh, Messiah came for us. So how can Gentiles now be disrespecting the true children of the book? Be acting as if, hey, we don't need you. Hey, this salvation belongs to Yasharal. All right, let's go on. So how are we saved? Because being Yasharal alone does not save us. That is the beginning. It means that salvation is for us. And so we need to actually walk in Yahuwah's righteousness to attain that salvation. So we will be saved by emunah with works through patient endurance. And as I said, even though salvation is for Yasharal, being Yasharal alone does not save us. Only a remnant of Yasharal shall be saved. Matthew 10:22. Matthew 10:22. Read, please.
And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that endureth to the end shall be saved.
So number one, there is an endurance to take place. Yes, there is an endurance. You have to endure unto the end. It is not once saved, always saved. Revelation 14:12.
Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of Alua and the faith of Yahushua HaMashiach.
Okay, so we have patience, we have endurance, we have keeping of the commandments, and we have the faith of Yahushua. All of these are requisite for us to be saved. 2 Ezra 9:5-12. Go ahead, please.
For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest, even
Continue.
so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonder and powerful works, and endings in effects and signs. And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, whereby ye have believed.
So we are escaped by emunah and works. Don't let anyone tell you anything. It's not faith alone. Faith and works, whereby ye have believed. It is the belief that leads us to works. Continue, verse 8.
Bro, you also notice that it's the same, it's in the same order as Revelations 14:12, right?
Yes.
Those who keep the commandments and the faith. And then here as well, they escape by their works and their faith.
Yes. Yes. Verse 8.
Shall be preserved from the said perils and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning.
All right, so this is Luke 21:34-36, when the Messiah was saying that be careful that you are not overcharged with surfeiting, etc., and that you can stand in the day to overcome what is happening upon the earth. So these are who will be preserved through emunah and works. Continue.
All right, verse 9, right? Then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments.
So here's the thing. If we refuse when the Most High speaks, then we are going to be in trouble. Verse 10.
For such as in their life have received benefits and have not known me.
These are the sinners who take the Most High for granted, who has provided for, and they have not tried or sought after him. Verse 11.
So sorry, this comes to my mind quickly. When the Most High says, I am a jealous Alua, and I share my glory with none.
Yes.
Now, back in the day, all the things that he did for us, we were attributing it to another mighty one, isn't it? That's what we were doing. We were attributing it to Satan. And the Most High is talking about it here, that we have received benefits and have not known him. So we have not known that he had been the one trying to quicken us by also taking care of us and leading us. Hopefully we have humility to hear his words by his word. So that just crossed my mind. I thought I'd put it out there as well. 11. And they that have loathed my law, while they had yet liberty, and when as yet place of repentance was open unto them, understood not, but despised it.
The same
must know it after death by pain. Woo.
All right? All of those people, all of us, those who have not been able to overcome by works and by emunah, whereby they have believed. And that emunah, or faith, of course, for us is through Yahushua HaMashiach. Okay? So that is the true faith, the true emunah. Endurance, patience, emunah, works, yeah, belief, essentially. So that is the way that we follow Revelation 14:12. All right?
Yeah.
So now we come to the Gentiles. This is what I have wanted to come to. See how quickly I can deal with this as well. The Gentile salvation deception. I might have to divide this in two. Oh no. The Gentile salvation deception. Because we just looked at the 7 different types of belief, and we have a division here. The Gentiles who believe Israel is our Yasharal, and the Gentiles who find and join themselves to the true children of Yasharal. What will happen? The Gentile salvation deception is a deception that all the Gentiles need to do is just to believe, and that's it. There's no difference. They don't even have to regard the children of the Most High. They don't have to regard anything. They don't have to have anything to do with us. They have Jesus or Yahusha, they say. So they are one with us. They have now been grafted in. I'm telling you, this misunderstanding of grafted in, we have a teaching on it, the grafted in Bible meaning, a recent teaching on it that all the Gentiles need to actually read it on justaword.org. This misunderstanding is really going to damn a whole lot of Gentiles. We have to understand. Okay? Children of Yasharal will be a stumbling stone for the Gentiles. Let me say it again. The true children of Yasharal are going to be a stumbling stone for the Gentiles. And it is written in Jeremiah 16:19. Read it, please, bro.
O Yahuwah, my strength and my fortress, and my refuge in the day of affliction, the Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth, and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things wherein there is no profit.
It is prophesied that the Gentiles are going to wake up and realize that they had inherited lies. Not only lies with the religion and the lies about JC, etc. There's going to be lies also about their salvation. Lies about what it takes for them to be saved. Because, as I had said before, think about this now. We have been suffering for hundreds of years at the hands of you and your people, because your people have oppressed us. The whole world has oppressed the children of Israel, virtually. And if they have not directly oppressed us, they have sat by and watched the whole world, watch the rest of the world oppress us. And they have oppressed us, and they have built up empires and built up power bases from which you benefit. Our people are the least in this world. Your people, most of the Gentiles, up in this world, leading the world, have all the wealth, all the power, everything. Now, do you think Yahuwah, being the righteous judge, is going to let us suffer for hundreds of years for the sins of our fathers? I could say I was born and I didn't do anything. Yes? Well, why am I born in this captivity? Why was I born with a handicap for just being me, looking like me, for just being born in this country is a handicap? Why was I born with that handicap? And I could say, I didn't do anything. Why? The Most High punishes nations. As long as you are part of a nation that is being punished, you are going to receive the punishment. Whether or not I am found righteous, I have to partake in the punishment. There are only exceptions that the Most High will have and keep some of the righteous to do something elsewhere, but he will put the righteous in captivity. Yes? You cannot be oppressing us and be gaining from all of this that you have done. And his prophecies are saying that you should pay. And his prophecies even say, let's go to the first one. His prophecies even tell us of, in the end, that his people are going to possess those who are called by his name. You ignore that. Okay? But let's go into it and look, because the Most High promised of an upcoming tabernacle of David that will be like David of old. So let's see how David reigned of old. All right? Let's see how David reigned of old. The tabernacle of David of old. 2 Samuel 22:41. 2 Samuel 22:41. This is the kingdom that is coming back. Read, please.
Thou hast also given me the necks of mine enemies, that I might destroy them that hate me.
All right? This is why the Messiah is coming back to destroy his enemies. That's why I said in Luke 21:27, those my enemies, who that I do not reign over them, bring them here and slay them before me. He is coming back in the same ruach of David. 42.
They looked, but there was none to save, even unto Yahuwah, but he answered them not.
You see that?
Yeah.
When it is time, when the Messiah returns, they're going to be looking and crying out for Yahuwah. He's not going to answer. He's not going to answer. Verse 43.
Then did I beat them as small as the dust of... Let me start again. Then did I beat them as small as the dust of the earth. I did stamp them as the mare of the street and did spread them abroad. That is some hiding.
Some good whipping. Verse 44.
Thou also hast delivered me from the strivings of my people. Thou hast kept me to be head of the heathen. A people which I knew not shall serve me.
Aha. These are the heathen that are called by Yahuwah's name. In Amos 9:11-12. Let me just go there quickly, and then we can get back to show you what we're talking about. Upcoming tabernacle of David. This is what is coming in the end. This is the kingdom that the Messiah will be leading. Read Amos 9:11-12, please.
In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof. And I will raise up his ruins, and I will rebuild, and I will build it as in the days of old, that they may possess. Yeah.
That tabernacle that we're talking about.
Yes.
This is what will be raised up again.
Yes,
He says,
wow.
as in the days of old, it will be the same similitude. And what will it do? Continue.
That they may possess the remnant of Edom and of all the heathen which are called by my name, saith Yahuwah that doeth this.
Let me tell you something. The Gentiles, I don't know. I don't know. Let's go back to how it was then and continue. They will be possessed. Has given me to be the head of the heathen. A people which I knew not shall serve me. Yes, 45.
Strangers shall submit themselves unto me. As soon as they hear, they shall be obedient unto me.
All right, so these are the good strangers.
Yeah.
Let me see if it's a good and bad here. 45, 52, 36. Yeah, 11:21. It is Nekar. Okay. It is the bad strangers. Continue. Bam, bam, bam. So it's in the car here. The bad strangers shall submit themselves unto him. And verse 46.
Strangers shall fade away, and they shall be afraid out of their close places.
So some of the Nekar will submit themselves and some of them are going to run. Verse 47.
Of course, which also brings us back to the deception, the deceptive doctrines of some of these camps out there, saying that there will be no remnant of Edom left.
Yes.
I mean, the previous verse in Amos just slammed that idea that it's a lie.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Yes.
Strangers
Yes.
shall fade away, and they shall be afraid of out of their close places. Yahuwah liveth, and blessed be my rock, and exalted be the Alua of the rock of my salvation.
Continue.
It is Alua that avengeth me, and that bringeth down the people under me.
Mm-hmm.
And that bringeth me forth from mine enemies. Thou also hast lifted me up on high above them that rose up against me. Thou hast delivered me from the violent man. All
right. Verse 51.
He is the tower of salvation for his kings, and showeth mercy to his anointed, unto David and to his seed forevermore.
Evermore. This is a prophecy of the end time kingdom coming in the end. All right? And we just saw the tabernacle of David as it is coming. The Messiah's kingdom will be like David's kingdom of old, as it was promised in Isaiah 54:3 at the bottom. Read, please. For thou shalt
break forth on the right hand and on the left, and thy seed shall inherit the Gentiles, and make the desolate cities to be inhabited.
Inherit the Gentiles. All right? The Gentiles shall be his possession. All right. And we looked, of course, at the fact that, where is it? Yahushua HaMashiach is coming back to slay his enemies. We looked at that before. Right. So to the law and to the testimony, we're going to look at what foundation the Messiah's kingdom will be on when he returns. Because what we are trying to show, we are showing the Gentiles that if you reject the true people of the Most High, if you refuse to be in subjection to them, if you refuse to join yourselves to them, then you have no salvation, no matter what you do. We're going to show the scriptures. All right? I'm not condemning anyone. I'm telling you, summarizing what the scriptures say. And we are going to see today. Okay? So to the law and to the testimony, let's see the law that shows what will happen to Yasharal's enemies who make peace with Yasharal and those who refuse to surrender. Of course, we've looked at this before. But as we said, looking at all things together and putting them together to give us further understandings of what the word really means. This is the law of tributary. Read from verse 10, please.
When thou comest near unto a city to fight against it, then proclaim peace unto it. And it shall be, if it make thee answer of peace and opened unto thee, then it shall be that all the people that is found therein shall be tributaries unto thee, and they shall serve thee.
Anything ring up bell here for the Gentiles, Shamuel? These are our enemies, right?
Yes, the heathens, yeah.
And we proclaim peace, but through which name do we proclaim peace?
Through Yahushua HaMashiach,
the Prince of Peace, right?
Yes.
So when they come to Yahusha, it is that they have opened up unto us. When they are opened unto us and they come to Yahusha, that all the people shall be what? Tributaries, and they shall what?
Unto thee and serve thee. They will serve Yasharal.
Serve thee. All right. Then we're going to look at the meaning of tributaries as well. Verse 12.
And if it will make no peace with thee, but will make war against thee, then thou shalt besiege it.
All right. So hold on there now. This is where we get this. This is where we get this. But those mine enemies which would not that I should reign over them, bring hither and slay them before me. It comes from the law. This is why the Messiah could say this. All right? So, where are we now? Yeah. So, verse 12, going to 13, please.
And if it will make no peace with thee, but will make war against thee, then thou shalt besiege it. And when Yahuwah thy Elohim hath delivered it into thy hands, thou shalt smite every male thereof with the edge of the sword.
Continue.
But the women and the little ones and the cattle and all that is in the city, even all the spoil thereof, shalt thou take unto thyself, and thou shalt eat the spoil of thine enemies, which Yahuwah thy Elohim hath given to thee.
All right. All right. So guess what now? It sounds like only the males will be destroyed.
Yeah.
And the women and the little ones are spared. Well, guess what? Guess what? All right. We're going to look at, no, should be on it. I left off something. No. I left out something. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah. Let me get it. Coming up. All right. Here it is. So if the males are to be spared, but in Yahusha, there is neither male nor female. Read verse 328.
There is neither Jew nor Greek. There is neither bond nor free. There is neither male nor female, for ye are all one in Mashiach.
So just as how there's no male or female, when he comes back, there will be no male nor female before him. Everyone will be one before him. So this destruction that is coming, it's not going to be on the males only, as it says in the Torah, males and females. Okay?
Yes.
You with me?
Yes.
All right, so the meaning of tributary there, let's go back and see why we need the meaning of tributary. Because in verse 12, read 11 again, please.
And it shall be, if it make thee answer of peace, and open unto thee, then it shall be that all the people that is found therein shall be tributaries unto thee, and they shall serve thee.
So let's see. There shall be tributaries, and the tributaries there means, it's from the Hebrew Mass, from properly age 45, 49, properly a burden as causing to faint. That is a tax in the form of forced labor, discomforted, levy, taskmaster, tribute. So this is actually slavery in that the Gentiles are sentenced to go under. Now, what you want to show is that the Gentiles who will be spared upon the return of the Messiah, who will be able to stand before the Son of Man, will be those who have placed themselves in subjection to us, the children of Israel, the true children of Israel. It will not be those who believe those people over there in the place called Israel are the people. Because let me tell you something. The Gentiles gladly, and when I say gladly, I mean gladly. Let me get this thing a little bigger. The Gentiles gladly accept that these people over there in the place called Israel are the people of the book. Why? Because they look like them. And if they even don't look like them, they look like the exalted people on the earth, because the exalted people on the earth come through one nation. And those are the Caucasian, the white people. So if they look white, then it means that the Gentiles do not have a guilt trip to deal with. Yeah, They don't have to feel guilty, thinking that they have to repay for what they have done to us. Have nothing to repay if they can ignore us. But if they have to accept that it is us, then there's gonna be an we have hated these people all our lives. We have despised them. We have thought them to be nothing, as it said in the Book of Wisdom. We have thought them to be nothing. We have despised them. We have enslaved them for hundreds of years. Our country has been built on their back. How are we going to deal with this? How can I now go and be in subjection to these people? That is the test that the Most High has given the Gentiles. That is the acid test. How do you now deal with these people? Are you going to continue to ignore them? Because if you do not repent of what you have done to them and be subjected to them, then it means that you still have not repented of the sins of your fathers. Look at us. We have to be repenting of the sins of our fathers. They have not. They just ignore and just go on. That is not Yahuwah. Yahuwah is not going to tolerate that. All right? You have to repent and you have to be subjected to the people. We're going to see that the scriptures tell us that in the end, they have to be subjected to his people. So, Revelation 1:5-6, Gentiles must be in subjection to the children of Yasharal, or they will not be spared by Hamashiach Yahusha when he returns. Bold claim. Let's see if scriptures back it up. Revelation 1:5-6. Read, please.
And from Yahushua HaMashiach, who is the faithful witness and the first begotten of the dead, and the prince of the kings of the earth, unto him that loved us and washed us from our sins in his own blood, and hath made us kings and priests unto Elohim and his Father. To him be glory and dominion forever and ever. So
here's what we want. God has made us kings and priests. That's what we are. Kings and priests. No longer servants. Deuteronomy 29:10-11. Read, please. This now is telling us of the hierarchy going into the kingdom, the first promised land. And we have used this several times before as well. We just want to know the hierarchy, to know that the Gentiles will be the least going into the kingdom. The strangers who are not Israelites will be the least going into the kingdom. 10-11, please.
Ye stand this day, all of you, before Yahuwah your Elohim, your captains of your tribes, your elders and your officers, with all the men of Yasharal.
Continue.
Your little ones, your wives, and thy stranger that is in thy camp, from the hewer of thy wood unto the drawer by water. So unto the drawer of thy water, yeah.
So the stranger is the least, last one called, the least, because this is a hierarchy. Yeah. Here's the last one called. Isaiah 49:22-26. You're going to show us how we will be exalted in the end. Isaiah 49:22-26. Read, please.
Thus saith Yahuwah Elohim, behold, I will lift up mine hand to the Gentiles and set up my standard to the people, and they shall bring thy sons in their arms, and thy daughters shall be carried upon their shoulders.
All right, so who is thy? Who is this thy?
The men, the heathens, the men of the heathens.
No, the children of Israel. They shall bring thy sons in their arms.
That's the other. I'll lift up my hand to the Gentiles and set up the standard to the people, and they shall bring. Okay, all right, yeah.
Verse 23.
And kings shall be thy nursing fathers, yes, and thy queens by thy nursing mothers. They shall bow down to thee with their face toward the earth, to lick up the dust of thy feet, and thou shalt know that I am Yahuwah. For they shall not be ashamed that wait for me.
So those of us who wait on him, the rest of the world will be in subjection to us when the Most High turns the tide. Verse 24.
Shall the prey be taken from the mighty, or the lawful captive delivered? But thus saith Yahuwah, even the captives of the mighty shall be taken away, and the prey of the terrible shall be delivered. For I will contend with him that contended with thee, and I will save thy children.
All right, these thy children here, children of Israel. He's going to contend with all of those who contended with us. So the Gentiles who just think that everything is going to be easy, slow going. It's not going to be a walk in the park if you do not join yourselves to his people. Verse 26.
Verse 26, and I will feed them that oppress thee with their own flesh, and they shall be drunken with their own blood, as with sweet wine. And all flesh shall know that I, Yahuwah, am thy Savior and thy Redeemer, the mighty one of Yaakov.
So what he's going to do is going to be so obvious. He's going to exalt his people so much, it's going to be obvious to the rest of the world. Notice he didn't say anything about the Gentiles there, about him doing that for the Gentiles. It is for his people. And Revelation 3:9 again, he goes and says the same thing. Read, please.
Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews, and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee.
Yes, because it seems as if we have been forgotten. Nobody knows us. The Most High doesn't love us. All right? So he's going to make a public show, telling the Gentiles that if you do not join yourselves to us, then we're going to see what the Messiah will do when he returns. You have been tricked by the religion called Christianity. Christianity is the Gentile religion of deception that makes us feel that everything is just, what should I say? Everything is just automatic. You become a Christian, hey, bam, you're in the kingdom. Same thing. What the believers do, those who say they are following the way, they just shift the same teaching of Christianity to follow the way. So Christianity says, all you have to believe and you're grafted in. I don't see anyone who is following the way, who is a Caucasian, etc., breaking down what it actually means to be grafted in properly. No, they don't want to, because they do not want to take the burden of responsibility for what they did to us.
Yes.
So they gladly follow the Christian way and say, I am grafted in. So that's it. Arguments finished. That's it. Nothing else. Yes? But you have something to say.
No, I want you to finish what you're saying. You're making a very vital point here. Very, very, very vital.
Yeah, so we don't have anything to do. Bam. And keep that Christian thing, not knowing that we have to purge everything from Christianity. It's all a lie. That's not what the Bible says. And we're going to show you what the Bible says very, very simply today. You're saying something?
Yeah. The burden of that responsibility of what their fathers did. You see, you cannot run away with it, because if not,
yes,
you are in denial. It's a delusion on itself. All right. The sooner you also face the burden, all right, the burden of what your people have done, the quicker how do I? I'm trying to find English sometimes. It just eludes me.
The faster.
The faster your journey back towards the righteous path begins, because denial means you are still sick. All right, you are loving the lie. That's what denial literally means. You are loving the lie, and we all know those who love the lie will not inherit the kingdom. It's as simple as it is, because part of not loving the lie is one, accepting that the Messiah came as a human, as a man, and he was Hebrew, and he was dark-skinned, right? And he was from amongst his people. That is one of the burdens you have to carry. There is nothing wrong in accepting that the Messiah is what? Is dark-skinned. And the fact that you are uncomfortable about hearing that tells me that what? You still have the very same supremacist mindset. You haven't gotten off your high-mindedness, all right? We're talking about it. You see how free we are talking about this. Sometimes you don't know how uncomfortable it can get, but we have to speak about all of this in humility, not to shame you, all right? Because the most important part about this is the repentant aspect. Have you repented? And what does it look like to show that you have truly repented? Because your works are going to be tried. Now, if you are deceiving yourself, the moment it is tried, you are going to come out. And this is part of the trying. The fact that you are in denial, you are denying the children who they are. All right. And remember what the Most High said to Abraham. It says, I will bless those who do what? Those who bless you, and curse those who what? Who curse you.
Curse you.
Now, part of denying the children and refusing to help awaken them is you literally cursing them and wanting to keep them in ignorance. This is one of it. So you're denying of helping to spread the truth and awakening and telling these people, because in the prophecy in Isaiah 14 verse 2, it says that the people shall take them, all right, and do what? And bring them. So if you are a heathen and you're a Gentile, part of showing your repentance is by your help and the efforts you make, like what I always mention and what Brother Dana is doing, all right, helping to take the children and showing them that, hey, this is all about you. Stop denying the Messiah, stop denying the people, and stop denying the Elohim. It's very important. It's very, very important. Cleave to his people, sojourn amongst them, love them like yourself. If you see them impoverished, bro. If you see them impoverished, they are impoverished because of what? Because of what your fathers did. And if you can help them, help them. Give your money to them. Yes, they deserve it. That is your part of contribution in showing your repentance. All right. For many years, we have been donating to the false and the synagogue of Satan. When we were Christians, we were told we were Gentiles. And so we're donating our funds and our offerings to who? To this synagogue of Satan, of which today they are still using it to do what? Against us. They are using it to enrich themselves and to creating all these pharmaceuticals and all that, and have been waging war to destroy us further. Now is the time to wake up. Wake up from your sleep. Wake up from your pride. Come down and believe and help yourself to realize that I've truthfully changed and I have repented. Shalom.
All right. All right. So we are going to look now at just some simple things to show us the Gentiles have to be in subjection, have to be among the people of Yasharal in order to enter the kingdom. And we know that the kingdom has 12 gates. There are 12 gates into the kingdom. Read Revelation 21:12, please.
And had a wall great and high, and had 12 gates, and at the gates 12 angels, and names written thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Yasharal.
So, how do the Gentiles enter the gate? This will simply show us exactly what it is all about. 12 gates, no Gentile gates. Which gates will the Gentile go through? How can the Gentiles ignore, disrespect, and undermine the true children of Yasharal and enter the kingdom? Through their gate.
Yes.
You don't have a gate for yourself. And the people through whose gates you are going to enter through, you are disrespecting and ignoring them. Yes? After your forefathers have abused and oppressed and enslaved and trodden on these people and hated and despised and spat upon these people for hundreds of years, you have to go through their gate and you say, oh, I am saved by whomever. I don't need you. Yes? How will the Gentiles enter through the 12 gates? How will they enter through the 12 gates? Yechezkel 47:21-23. Read, please.
So shall ye divide this land unto you according to the tribes of Yasharal.
So this is inheritance now. You have to go through the 12 gates for these inheritance now. Hear this now. This is inheritance. Continue.
And it shall come to pass that ye shall divide it by lot for an inheritance unto you, and to the strangers that sojourn among you, which shall beget children among you.
Stop there.
And
to the strangers that sojourn among you. So the strangers are going to have an inheritance. But it says, which shall beget children among you. What do you think is the implication of that, Shamuel?
Okay, bro, you just explained that. Let me take a breather on this one. Yes, please explain that for us.
All right. Which shall beget children among you implies that they are physically among us. You get it?
Yes.
The sojourn means dwell, rest, remain, abide, live, sleep among us.
Dwell in, yes.
They dwell among us and beget children among us. It is more than just saying, hi, you are the children of Yashua. It is becoming one with us.
Yes.
Meaning being among us as one of us. Continue. And they shall be
burdens. Okay.
sharing everything.
Yes.
Sharing in our oppression, our burdens, just like Ruth in Ruth 1:16.
Yes.
Thy Alua shall be my Alua. Wherever you go, I will go. Wherever, everything, you let us one with you.
Wow.
Continue.
And they shall be unto you as born in the country among the children of Yasharal. They shall have inheritance with you among the tribes of Yasharal.
These are the people who are entering into the kingdom with us, who have inheritance. One that are like us and with us. Read verse 23 now.
And it shall come to pass that in what tribe the stranger sojourneth, there shall ye give him his inheritance, saith Yahuwah Allah.
Shamuel, what is the implication of verse 23?
All right.
For the 12 gates.
It says, it is very important because this will, remember, the Most High's word will not return to him void. All right. So whatever tribe that you dwell amongst, that you will settle amongst, that you partake in their burden, wherever, being amongst these people, sharing in their joy, their sadness, their impoverishment, everything. It says there you will be given what? An inheritance, your inheritance. So if you are denying these people, if you are separating yourself from them, I don't know whether there is a gate there amongst the 12 tribes called the Christian gate, of which you are going to get your inheritance from. But if there is no gate called Christianity, then you should be sure, ready to partake and to humble yourself, deny yourself, and to join these people, because amongst and from these people are you going to receive what? Your inheritance. All right. And part of the salvation, this is it.
Their inheritance depends on them being among us. It is a nation. This is telling you about the end time. And every prophecy tells you the same thing. In Isaiah 14, it tells you that the people shall take them. It says they shall cleave to the... Let's go there.
Yeah.
Let's go there. Isaiah 14, verse 2. This has been hidden from the Gentiles, just as how everything has been hidden from us and we have to search with all our hearts. It's the same thing for the Gentiles. Read, please. And the people shall take them.
And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Yasharal.
Sorry. Verse 1.
Verse 1, yes. For Yahuwah will have mercy on Yaakov, and will yet choose Israel, right? Yasharal, and set them in their own land, and the strangers, with an S, shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Yaakov.
What is that saying? What does that cleave actually imply?
They are going to hold on for dear life.
So if you refuse these people and reject these people and refuse to be among these people, how can you cleave to them?
Pride will never allow you to cleave. Pride already demonstrates that you are fallen. You are not cleaving.
Bro, here's another one. Where is it? Oh, sorry. Here's another one. Read, please, verse 23.
Thus saith Yahuwah Allah, that saith Yahuwah of hosts, in those days it shall come to pass that 10 men shall take hold out of all languages of the nations, even shall take hold of the skirt of him that is a Jew, saying, we will go with you, for we have heard that Allah is with you.
Is there anything different here?
Nope.
Same principle hanging on to us for dear life. This is a deception that the Gentiles have been given through Christianity, to think this grafting in thing is just, oh, you say you believe in Jesus, so you have Jesus or you have Yahusha. You don't need anything else. But where is love? Where is repentance? How can you have Yahusha and there is no love? You saw how Yahusha loved his brethren, and now you are dealing with Yahusha's brethren, and you show them no love. How can you say you have Yahusha? Yes? What about repentance to say, hey, my people did a job with your people, I'm so sorry. What about that? Eh?
It's hard to say sorry because they haven't accepted what their people did. And that's where you know that you haven't repented. You are shying away from true repentance. All right. The children themselves are going through. They have to show remorse. They have to regret. They have to do what? They have to cry unto the Alua. Now, what about a stranger? You think you just raise your hand and say, I repent, and that is it? No,
That's it.
that is deception. This is what we call a strong delusion, a strong delusion.
Yes.
So you need to hear what we are saying, receive it in humility as we're saying. There is no pride here. It is out of love that we say this, because in as much as the children need to know what it's required for them to be saved, the stranger also needs to know what are the standards for their salvation. If not, you will be walking around there assuming and imagining, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing? And then you end up realizing last minute that you have failed.
And guess what? This is almost all the strangers have this delusion. Almost all the strangers have this deception in them, thinking that they have Yahusha, they don't need anything, or they don't need to do anything else. Who needs you? One of them told me, I don't have anything to do with you and your, I don't have to be grafted into your skin color. And I tell him it's not about skin color, it's about a nation of people, it's about nation. And he kept repeating, skin color, skin color, skin color.
Yeah.
Stop being stupid. Stop, all sorts of things that they tell me. More than one of them.
He's offended by it.
Yes, because it would mean that they would have to take responsibility or liability. Let me tell you something. The Gentiles love this easy way. They just come to Yahusha and start doing everything to say they are serving Yahusha, without having to go back and say, what did we do wrong with these people? Or to say, these are Yahuwah's people. They don't care. Yes?
It's scary, brother. It's because they have always known the sweet life. So they assume it's the same when you come into this walk.
Yes.
That, oh, it's an entitlement. Yes. I just said, I love you, Yahusha. It's enough. Forgive me. And that's pretty much, it's not the same. This is not the sweet life. This is payback for what? Payback for sin. Just as the children of the kingdom were paid back for what? For their very same rebellion. So nothing goes unpunished. No sin goes unpunished. We have to wake up and begin to walk and do this thing. And to walk the talk. Don't get uncomfortable when these topics are raised. All right? Don't get uncomfortable. Just as brother, just let's continue. Let's continue, bro.
Whew. Isaiah from Jeremiah 30, verse 16. Just giving you an example. Are we there? No. Read verse 16, please.
Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine enemy and all thine adversaries. Every
All right,
one
let
of
me
them.
read it. Let me
Yes.
read it.
Okay.
Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. This is what's happening in the end. This is what is coming. And the Gentiles, non-repentant Gentiles, think that it's going to waltz into the kingdom. Oh, yes, I'm going into the kingdom and waltz in, just like that. We, the children of Israel, tell you that it's not that easy. We have gone through hell as a people. So do you think that you're going to bring us through hell and then you just come and just walk in? Anyway, let's continue. Stop boasting, Gentiles, stop boasting against the branches, because that is what they're doing, not understanding what it means to be grafted in. Jeremiah, Romans 11:17. Read, please.
And if some of the branches be broken off, and thou, being a wild olive tree, wert grafted in among them, and with them partakers of the root and fatness of the olive tree.
Here we go.
Boast not.
Well, here we go. We're
Boast
grafted.
Grafted, okay.
We're grafted in where? Hello?
Yes, bro.
We're grafted in where?
Among Yasharal, among them.
This is the error that they are making. They are calling the olive tree Yahusha or Jesus or whatever. Yes?
Yes.
The olive tree, the good olive tree is the children of Yasharal. You are grafted in among them. Among them means you sojourn among them. You cannot be grafted into people or grafted in among people who you reject and who you refuse to come amongst. You cannot be grafted into people who you keep at arm's length and you refuse to dwell among them. Grafting is being among them, is being with them. So how can you be on the tree and you reject the tree? Because the root and fatness of the olive tree comes from Yahusha, which nourishes the rest of the tree. So how can you be grafting among them and you're not among them? You see what I'm saying, bro?
Among them, very important. They are essential. And the instruction is to be with them, in them, among them, dwelling, sojourning. All right. So the Most High sees them and overlooks what? Just as when the Most High looks at Yahusha, overlooks our what? Our filthiness. All right. Because if you know, we're never worthy to enter into his presence without Yahusha. It's the very same way the righteous children of whom you sojourn amongst are also more like a covering as well for the Gentiles. I mean, the very same order that Yahusha gives when he says his head is Alua and he is the head of man and man is the head of woman. Yahuwah is an Alua of order. He's an Alua of order. So when he says the stranger must sojourn amongst his people, I mean, when he comes and he finds you outside of his people in exclusion, in a different religion, a different faith, I mean, how do you expect him to save you?
And not only the faith, because that is what they use. They use religion in order not to be grafted in among the people, in order to not be among the people. So they follow away, and that is where they worship. They worship with this and they worship with that, in order to avoid joining themselves with Yasharal. Verse 18.
Boast not against the branches, but if thou boast, thou bearest not the root, but the root thee.
So this boasting is rejecting the branches.
Yes.
As they do. All right. And that boast there means to exalt against, that is over, boast, glory, rejoice against, exalt themselves against the branches. All right?
Yeah.
Verse 19. No.
20.
Verse 21.
For if Allah spared not the natural branches, take heed, lest he also spare not thee.
Continue.
Behold, therefore, the goodness and severity of Elohim, and on them which fell, severity, but toward thee, goodness, if thou continue in his goodness, otherwise thou also shalt be cut off.
Cut off. So if you are not joined to them and graft in among them in the first place, then you are already cut off. You don't know because you are not joined to them, so how can you be cut off? So you first have to be joined to them before you can be cut off. So the graft in is graft in among them. Okay?
Yes.
And in Jude 1:5-6, it tells you to take heed if the Most High didn't spare the angels, to show you how serious the Most High is when he is actually doing his cutting. So for the Gentiles who reject us, Hamashiach is going to deal with them upon his return. I'm trying to go as fast as possible. How much time is left?
See, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7. Okay, we have 3 hours.
3 hours. Okay.
Yeah.
Matthew 25:31. Read, please.
When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory. And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats.
Mm-hmm.
And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come, ye blessed of my father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundations of the world. For I was an hungered, and ye gave me meat. I was thirsty, and ye gave me drink. I was a stranger, and ye took me in. Naked, and ye clothed me. I was sick, and ye visited me. I was in prison, and ye came unto me. Then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Master, when saw we thee an hungered, and fed thee, or thirsty, and gave thee drink? When saw we thee a stranger, and took thee in, or naked, and clothed thee? Or when saw we sick? When saw we thee sick, or in prison, and came unto thee?
Mm-hmm.
The king shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these my brethren, ye have done it unto me.
So here's the thing. The least of these my brethren. When the Messiah was telling about his brethren, he turned to his disciples and says, Here are my brethren. Those who do the will of my Father are his brethren. So those who do the will of his Father among his people are his brethren. And notice here, sick, in prison, a stranger, clothed thee, naked and clothed thee, hungered and fed thee, thirsty and gave you drink. These are all things that afflict the least people on this earth, the Messiah's brethren.
Yes.
So when the Messiah comes back and the Gentiles are there sitting pretty, oh, we are followers of the way and we walk in the righteousness, this has to face them. I mean, this is going to face us all, but this has to face them because it says that you did it to the least of these, my brethren. Yes?
Yep. And many strangers find it hard to sojourn amongst these people or accept the idea that these are the people, because it's quite a hard thought to be able to come down to the level of those that they've always known to be oppressed.
Yes.
It is a heavy burden on them. But this is where humility comes in. All right. This is so important. This is where humility comes in.
So for those who didn't help his people, 45 to 46.
Then shall he answer them, saying, verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye did it not to one of the least of these, ye did it not to me. And these shall go away into everlasting punishment, but the righteous unto life eternal. So the good strangers who will be able to accept this and be able to do all these things the Mashiach is saying, not deny his people, help his people, feed them, clothe them. When you see them in your wealthy neighborhoods, you don't say they are suspects and kill them and stuff, but you rather rescue them, come to their aid. All those who do this is exactly what the Messiah is saying. It will all be counted to you. It will be counted to you.
All right. Here's another part now. Remember, we talk about subjection. 2nd Baruch 72 tells us again, the apocalypse of Baruch tells us what is going to happen to the nations upon the return. This matches up with what we just read in Matthew 25. Read, please.
Now, hear also about the bright waters which come at the end after these black ones. This is the word. After the signs have come, of which I have spoken to you before, when the nations are moved and the name of my appointed one comes, he will call all nations, and some of them he will your bandwidth is gone.
Yeah.
And some of them he will spare, and others he will kill. These things will befall the nations which will be spared by him. Every nation which has not known Yasharal. Hey, okay, right there. Every nation which has not known Yasharal and which has not trodden down the seed of Jacob will live. And this is because some from all the nations have been subjected to your people.
Stop there. Every nation which has not known Yasharal, and this means those who have not oppressed our people and which has not trodden down the seed of Jacob, will live. And this is because, here is a prerequisite for living. This is because some from all the nations have been subjected to your people. Yes? Have been. That means up to the time before he comes, they would have been subjected to his people. That is how they will be spared.
Can we, bro? Can you put the definition of subjection, please, for us the non-English speakers? We who didn't study grammar in school. Let us have understanding of this.
Let me see if I can get it in this. I get it in the Greek. Can I get it in the Greek here? Subjective means to subordinate. Reflexively, to obey. Be under obedience. Obedient. Put under. Subdue unto. Be make subject to. Be make subject unto. Be put in subjection to. Be put in subjection under. To submit self unto.
Wow. Did we hear that? I mean, you don't need further explanation from the broken down definition of what subjection to is. It says subjection. Remember this in Yahuwah's ways. I mean, his ways are not our ways. He uses the word submission, subjective, all these things continually because they are important to him. All right. You are either to do it his way because he says his standard is already on the earth. You either choose to meet it or you don't want to. So when he speaks about subjection, you have to be subjected to his people. All right. You need to be practicing that which is about to come. You don't wait to say it must come before you start to subject. No, now you start to repent and you start to subject. Now, when the children are waking up and they are beginning to have understanding of the truth and they are sharing it with you, you go around dismissing them, mocking them and saying they are liars. All right. And that they have stolen identities and all that. Guess what you are doing? Guess who you are taking on? You are taking on the Father. Now, also to the children as well, our brothers and sisters, the Yasharal, children of Yasharal. Now, if you have strangers that are meeting this requirement and are sojourning amongst you, and you are still oppressing them and mocking them and treating them ill because of their past, please, you are also warned. All right. So there is a danger. The very same word is a danger to both ends. It's a dividing sword. The sword is sharper, front and back. All right. As it's cutting the children, it's cutting the strangers. As it's cutting the strangers, it's cutting the children. Because the Most High is doing a work of humility in all. All right. So please, it's important. Let the order of Yahuwah, let his will take place over the earth. The children, the strangers, and then it goes on. The man, Yahusha, the man, the woman. All right. No Old Testament without New Testament. No New Testament without Old Testament. All right. No Shaul without Messiah. Everything Shaul says overrides the Messiah. How is that possible? How is that possible? The last time we checked, Shaul's name wasn't given before the foundations of the earth. It was Yahusha's name that was given. All right. To be the redeemer of Yasharal and the world. Shalom.
All right. Verse 6.
All those now who have ruled over you or have known you will be delivered up to the sword.
See that? It is who is in subjection to who that is important. Who is ruling over you? If they refuse to be subjected to us in the end before the Messiah returns, they will be in the last batch, verse 6. Okay?
Yes.
They will live if they are subjected to our people. It's as simple as that. So what we see in Revelation, in Isaiah 14:1-2, that they shall cleave to the house of Israel. In Zechariah 3, it tells you about them 10 men cleaving to the skirt of him that is a Jew. When we see all of those prophecies about them being in subjection in Amos 9:11-12, it tells us that they shall possess the remnant of Edom and all the children, all the heathen that are called by my name. When we see all of those subjection things, and then the Gentiles now refusing to be subject unto us, refusing even to have anything to associate themselves with us. When we see that, we know that these Gentiles do not value their salvation at all. Okay?
Yes.
So, what does the Bible say about these 7 different types of biblical beliefs? So far, number 5 has held up. And for the Gentiles, it's number 5 plus number 7. All right? You cannot accept the whole Bible, the Lord, the Messiah, and Shaul without joining yourselves to Yasharal. Because Shaul told you about joining yourselves, grafting in among them. The Lord tells you about sojourning among them. The Messiah told us that he only came for the lost sheep of the house of Yasharal. It's all there. Okay? So for the Gentiles, for us as believers, we have to keep following the way. Remembering Revelation 14:12. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of Allah and the emunah of Yahusha. For the Gentiles, it's that Plus, understand what it means to be grafted in. Understand that you have a completely different experience, heritage from us, the children of Israel. Our people have been in captivity, slavery, etc. for hundreds of years. We have been punishing for the hundreds of years, while your people have been living well. The outcome is not the same. You don't just come and say you have Yahusha. And it's the same thing for both of us. When the Most High promised that he will punish you and promise that you will be in subjection to us. Wake up. Throw out that foolishness from Christianity where you just believe and you'll become equal and everything. No, that's not the Most High. All right? All right. So that's a wake-up call for the Gentiles. Again, all right? Most High keeps sending messages to the Gentiles. Hope you, Hope it makes sense. All right, so who's there? Is El Pedro there? I haven't heard from him since. I don't think he's there. No, he's not. All right, Brother Mahar.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
Right. Just want to encourage each and every one of us to know and to understand that there is no way at all to make it in the kingdom. Living this life on our own, not taking any note that there is Yahushua HaMashiach right here who gave up his own life, that we are all here today, living as a result of his obedience. He obeyed his Father, because when he was going through agony, at one point he was asking to take this cup away from him, but he also says, let it not be because he's asking, let it not be because of his will, let it be because of his Father's will. And we see that it was the will of his Father for him to go through and to be killed, just to raise up back in 3 days. The same thing will happen to us, maybe not 3 days, but if we live and die in righteousness, we shall live again. So let's not put the Messiah on one side. It will not happen without him. We need him. He is our guide to our Father. He will guide us to our Most High. He will definitely put death, who is the last enemy, under subjection. Put death under manners, conquer death. And with everything else that he came for, he will gather them along with himself and bring everyone back to Yahuwah or Allah. So let's just be encouraged. Let's continue to seek to love one another, even to esteem each other above ourselves. Let's continue to pray more, especially these last days. The kings of the earth and their armies, I'm almost sure that many of them are going through sleepless nights, planning how they can destroy us. So why should we lock away and sleep and wake up and go and do their work? Let's wake up and pray also, so the Most High will be done in our lives. Love you all. Shalom.
Shalom. Shamuel. Your time, Shamuel.
Yeah, bro. You can wrap it up. We've said it all.
Okay.
I'm just humility, please. That's all. Humility. Let's receive this word in humility, in spirit and in truth. Shalom.
All right, shalom. All right, so that's so that's it, except for the questions. We are going to be looking at the questions right now. Yeah, they see if we can answer them, if we can. Oh, when is the Feast of Weeks? June 26th is a Feast of Weeks, because we do not use the Jewish way of accounting for things, for the Feast of Weeks, because they use 7 weeks. They use 7 weeks and then the next day. So that will be 50 days. But we understand it to mean 7 weeks. That is 7 weeks, that is 49 days, plus 49 days plus 50 more days, which takes us from our time to the 26th of June. So that's the Feast of Weeks. And yeah, another person, why should people think Shaul was not teaching the whole truth? All right, the reason they think Shaul was not teaching the whole truth because of certain things that he spake about the Torah, certain things that he spoke about the law. For example, circumcision. And when he spoke about such circumcision availeth nothing, nor uncircumcision, etc. Things like that against uncircumcision, they thought Shaul was not speaking the truth. And other different things that they said there. Shaul spoke some things that kind of made them believe that Shaul was a deceiver, according to them, as they say. Yeah. But yeah. Another one. Who is the father of the Gentiles, if not Abba Yahuwah? And you say he is the father of Yasharal? He's the father of Yasharal? Oh yes, he's the father of Yasharal. Throughout the scriptures, you want to go and see Yahuwah never referred to himself. Let me get a Bible. He never referred to himself as the Alua of any other nation. And in Joel 2:26, Joel 2:27, he made a pronouncement here. Could you read it, please, Shamuel?
And he shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am Yahuwah your Elohim, and none else, and my people shall never be ashamed.
That is the Most High declaring that he is in the midst of Yasharal. He never claimed to be the Alua of the Gentiles. But he says, I am Yahuwah, your Alua, the children of Israel, and his people shall never be ashamed. All right? So, the Holy One of Israel, is, you're saying something?
And none else, bro. That's very important.
Yes.
And none else. That's a bold statement.
All right. So the Gentile, the person who asked that, all right. So the Holy One of Israel is in the Bible 30 times. The Holy One of Israel. And the Yahuwah your Alua. Yahuwah your Alua is in the Bible 142 times. And of course, you're there is referring to the children of Israel. And him being the God of the Gentiles, Isaiah 40, I only hope that person is still listening. Isaiah 40, verse 17. About 15.
All right. Behold,
nations are Gentiles. Nations
right.
are Gentiles, right? Read, please.
Okay. So the nation, okay, so behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket, and are counted as the small dust of the balance. Behold, he taketh up the isles as a very little thing.
The nations to him are as a drop of the bucket. He's not the Alua of the Gentiles, but he will be their Alua if they join themselves to his people and follow his son. That's it. Because verse 17, you're saying something?
Yes, the one that asked the question says they understand you now. So now they're asking, so who created them?
Who created them?
Yes, as a Gentile, who created them?
All right, Second Ezra 6, verse 53. About 53. 53. Read, please, bro.
Upon the 6th day, thou givest commandment unto the earth, that before thee it should bring forth beasts, cattle, and creeping things. And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest master of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen.
All right, stop there. So he created us. He created Adam, and from Adam came all of us. The Gentiles, as well as the people whom he has chosen. Verse 55 goes on to say, though,
all this have I spoken before thee, O Yahuwah, because thou madest the world for our sakes.
So though he made all, he made the world for the sakes of the children of Israel, for the sakes of one nation of people. And you can go to Deuteronomy 32, verses 8 to 9, when he tells us that when he created the sons of Adam, when he separated the people, he set their bounds according to the number of the children of Israel. So the world was designed and made based on the amount of the children of Israel who would be born on the earth. So the world was made for our sakes, the children of Israel, but verse 56 says,
as for the other people which also come,
these are the Gentiles. The other people, the Gentiles, yes? Continue.
As for the other people which come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and hast likened them the abundance of them, and hast likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel.
There we go. That should explain the question that the person asked. All right?
Yes.
He is the Alua of Yasharal.
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah, they say they understand now. Thank you. You've answered them.
All right. So the whole idea for the Gentiles is to humble yourselves, to see peradventure if the Most High will accept you. That's just it. Just as how we, the children of Israel, are humbling ourselves, peradventure, we will be counted worthy of the kingdom of Messiah. Simple. All right. Any more questions? All right. So I think that is it for today. All right. So thank you all. This radio keeps dropping off every time. Oh boy. Okay. All right. So, whoa, the pin isn't there either. Let me get this thing. Really hard to coordinate this thing. All right. So, finally, this is Kazak Aliyahu Yasharal. Thank you all for watching and listening. Please share our video. Thank you all. Those who are in the chat, who are there with us each week, we want to thank you for your comments. Thank you all for being here with us and making it with us. Only hope this has made a difference to someone, and that we realize the true way that without the New Testament, we still have not heard fully from the Most High, because he spake to us through the prophet, through Yahushua HaMashiach, and he also spake to us through his apostles. And that is why we have the New Testament, to show us the new covenant, how to walk in perfection, so that we can be found blameless upon the return of the Messiah and be counted worthy to stand before the Son of Man. For the Gentiles, you have to join yourselves to the children of Israel. That is your acid test. Can you humble yourselves and join and be subject to the people who have been the least upon this earth, the worst, the least, the people who your people hate, your people despise, your people have trod upon for so many years, the people on whose backs you have built your empire and your comfort zone and your seat of pride. The challenge is, are you willing to condescend, to come down from that high horse and go and be subject to these people? Because that is the term on which you enter. You cannot enter the kingdom unless You cannot have an inheritance in the kingdom unless you are subject to these people, unless you sojourn among these people, because whatever tribe in which you sojourn, that is the tribe in which you are going to have your inheritance. How can you have an inheritance if you reject the people and you refuse to sojourn among them? 12 gates into the kingdom, only 12 gates, all the 12 tribes of the children of Yasharal. No gates for Gentiles, no gates for Christians, no gates for Messianics, no gates, only for the children of Yasharal. Reject the children of Yasharal, the gates are closed to you. It's as simple as that, all right? So thank you all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our teachings, all right? This is Kazak Eliyahu Yasharal here from Just a Word, along with my co-host, Shamuel Phoebe, all right? Thank you for watching. Until next time, shalom.
Shalom.